Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another D6 Wounds podcast. Today we're talking about the London Legends GT 2026. I'm joined this evening by Mark Murfield, aka Noffles,
Evening, ladies.
Dr. Luke Blacksell,
Right, punks.
and Alex Wheatley, aka the War Boss.
Hello.
So before I get the lists up on the screen, I know everyone must be absolutely chomping at the bit to see the lists. We've got Alex as a special guest this evening. So while you're here, Alex, I thought I'd ask you. I mean, we've been talking a lot on the podcast recently about 8th edition and why people still play it and how it's surviving in this age of old world. And you're a fellow 8th ed player and TO, of course. So why do you still play? Why are you still running events for 8th ed?
I think what 8th edition has for me is a lot of nostalgia, and I think that I enjoyed the game a lot. I think the lore is really, really rich. I enjoy the characters. I've read a lot of Gotrek and Felix. The world is an immersive world that I love putting myself into. And I think for me, I'm getting old now. I don't like learning new things, and I know 8th edition, and I know it quite well. And when ninth came along, that was quite a nice transition. The rules were very similar. It was kind of like sharpening up a lot of those FAQ tweaks in the rule books, and it felt like the next natural progression. And it started, as all community projects I imagine do, it just started deviating from what it was meant to be and kind of fell off. And then there's the old world, which there was a lot of hype about. I remember getting hourly messages from Nav about how old world's going to change everything. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be the best thing ever. And it's different, and I'm sure it is a great thing for Games Workshop, but it's not the same game. And I think it's the same reason that I don't play 40k with the edition changes. I think it's just that I like it. I think it's a fairly well balanced rule set. And I think the interesting thing about it is the community of people who play 8th edition, I think, must really love the game because it is not the popular game and it is not the game that gets the constant updates and it's not the game with the new shiny toys. So the people who play it, I think, are the truest version of fans there are because they're gaining almost nothing from it. We're the red-headed stepson of the family. And it's quite easy to play the old world where they've got new rules and constant models and factions, and it's quite easy to play K, and it's the poster boy of Games Workshop. But I think if you choose to play 8th edition still, that says a lot about your enjoyment of the game and your love of the game, as opposed to kind of just following what Games Workshop tells you to.
Yeah, I think we're blessed, aren't we, to be in a position where we can actually play 8th ed tournaments still, and many people in other countries or other parts of this country even can't. And like you said, the community's retrenched a little bit from old world. As you said, it's not the new shiny toys, but it's a really lovely community, isn't it? And you see some of the same faces, but there's also new people popping up for the events, aren't there? I mean, your Thundercocks was a success, I heard.
It was. I'm really blessed that there was a lot of hype from you guys, from Chris and the Cardiff guys, that really rallied together to get a really good turnout for the first one. I'm planning on running another one this year, so tail end of September we'll be running the second one. We've taken loads of feedback on board from the first one, and I think what Thundercocks as an event is trying to do is trying to be different to the other 8th edition tournaments, and we're just trying to experiment with new things. I think it's an exciting time, and I think to kind of go back to your first question, I think the comp pack and the scenarios and the events are the change that people aren't getting from the rules changing. So if you think about the difference between the Cardiff event at the beginning of the year and the London event that's up and coming next weekend, the compact, without changing anything about my list, it dropped from a +2 to a -4, and the missions are different, and the objectives are different, and the aim's different. And I think what you guys do as TOs, what Chris and Adam do as TOs, and what I and James Allen do for Squid Copper, I think we make the game interesting and revitalizing by having different compacts. And I think what we try and challenge people to do when they think of their list means that they can't bring the same thing twice. And actually, we can, I guess, but it's a detriment to you. You need to think about new challenges. Like Fortitude at Thundercocks was a big thing no one had to worry about before. Like when I break my Fortitude, I get tournament points. So I really need to actively hunt those banners down. And in your compact, the way you've positioned your your secondary missions in the games really encourages a different style of play style than Cardiff because you've got different units that can score, and Cardiff didn't have banners needed to require at all anything scored in Cardiff, and so it was a bit of a free for all. And now in London, you're saying no, a banner is scoring. Like you rally your flag on the mound, and that's you claiming it. And I think that's another thing that's quite interesting. So Thundercocks try and do that I'm really glad that the community for you guys and for Cardiff still try and do that as well. We keep it nice and different.
But no, for those of you who are interested, I suppose, in looking at this from a sort of a kind of an old world perspective, things are very different here in old world. Everything is changing all the time. It's difficult to kind of keep up with it sometimes. But here, obviously, in eighth edition, we're playing a dead game. And so, in many respects, we're talking about the difference between London and Cardiff and Thundercocks and the various ways in which the community has comped the game differently that still produce all manner of variation, which is still very appreciable, even in people who have played hundreds, maybe even thousands of games. There is still the capacity within this rule set, within 8th edition, with a little bit of fan comping here, to produce so much variety, such that I don't think I've ever played the same game of 8th edition twice. Whereas that is perhaps one of the weaknesses of Old World, despite the fact that everything is changing quickly, can feel a little bit repetitive. But in 8th ed, a completely different ecosystem.
Well, I don't actually like using the phrase dead game. I take your point, of course, Luke, but a game's only dead if people stop playing it, right? And people do play it, and I said, new people coming in. We've even got the rankings website. Alex, do you want to say a bit about that?
Yeah, so something I really enjoyed in the height of 8th edition, and we were chatting a tiny bit before this recording started about when that was and sort of that 2012, 2013 era of Warhammer where right before ninth came in. I believe it was Bad Dice podcast that did their own ranking system, and they tracked your results, rolling 2 years on what that looks like, and there was something to compete for. And then ninth Age happened, and then everyone kind of took a bit of a break, and then we talked about Cardiff and London kind of being the forerunners in rejuvenating 8th edition. And I think that a big part of what continues, at least for me, is improvement. And I'm my best enemy, and I can keep bettering against myself. So in order to make that tangible, if I can't beat the likes of Mike Sylvester, Adam Daly, or Warren Brewster for first place, that's fine. How can I still be the best version of me? If I come fourth before the rankings, that was nice, but I didn't gain anything from that other than the experience. So I think the rankings was a really nice tool that Thundercocks have put together with the support of all the other TOs as a unified ranking system that tracks your highest 3 events across a rolling 2-year period, and you're given a score against it, and you're given a metric to measure yourself against it, and you can see yourself on the leaderboard at 10th, 14th, 25th, whatever. And at the next event, if you're not pushing for the podium, there's still something really to push for. And if it's getting into game 5 and I'm on table 7 and I'd need to get 40 points in this game to podium, actually, instead of me throwing in the towel, there's something I can really fight for here. I can fight for those points, which take me one more ranking up, might get me best in race if I really push for this, might overtake one of my friends, and actually it becomes a real talking point, especially for the Jabroni Generals. When we're driving back, Harry at the last Cardiff event got more points than he's ever got, and he went down the rankings because people around him also got more points. So yeah, the best result ever, and he got demoted. So that lit such a fire in him. He's like, I need those points. I'm coming back for those points. And Harry's a fantastic player. I think he's setting his sights on how can I be the best version of me I can be? How can I be the best for my scoreboard? And I think that really gives you something nice to aim for instead of come away from an event, getting sick and thinking, I had fun, but like what I kind of.
I would like to again point out, like I do every single one here, as the least competitive person on this podcast, I'm the only one with the best in race award.
You are. I've been demoted recently. John Blake took my best in race Oxford Goblins off me.
Yeah,
and yeah, you are. I think you have something like 37 points, Mark, and that is just enough to be best in race beaten.
I think I'm best in race by virtue of being the only person who's actually
Absolutely
played
correct.
the race.
Absolutely
I'll take it.
And there's some real low-hanging fruit there. Adam Daly is best in race Lisbon player from playing one event and coming third. He's only got one game with them. That's a really easy win to take off someone. Ogres is similar. That's under 100 points. Tomb Kings. Yeah. There's loads of them that if actually you really wanted to steal a best in race, you look at one of those low-performing armies, 2 or 3 events, if you come in mid-table, you could really contend for it. I mean, and actually, again, that's something nice to aim for, isn't it? Like you've got something to strive for then.
I've been telling Brian, who's coming to our tournament, we'll find out. He's bringing Beastman. This is what he's got to aim for. he's basically got to turn up.
So we were fascinating. There's an ecosystem that exists beyond just single tournaments now with these kind of rankings. That I mean, you would imagine that if we're playing, whether we call it kind of, dead as far as Games Workshop is concerned, although not as far as, of course, the fans are concerned, one might imagine that perhaps the odd event here and there is the best that it can do, but actually getting to a point where, with a few more kind of events in the rankings, they will actually start to become actually kind of meaningful, and there'll be a sort of a meta narrative that connects the various events. I mean, we've got 4 events effectively kind of running at the moment in the UK, and then obviously other ones that could be plugged into that. And this is all within the ecosystem of a game that was discontinued officially in 2015, The Strange Survival of 8th edition.
Alex, did you go to the Cardiff last month?
I did.
Yeah.
I
took a brief look at the list, and it looked pretty wild. I mean,
what, my list or the list in general?
The list in general, yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, so one of the things that Adam changed this event was he changed the metric of how scoring works. So scoring traditionally, if you put on like your dusty jacket and you're like how serious Warhammer, it's banners mean scoring. So that's how you contest an objective. 10 men with a flag, that's what scoring looks like. And one of the most recent changes Adam made was he said actually that scoring can be anything. A mountain chimera on a point is just as much scoring as infantry is, which meant it had the lowest turnout of banners, I think, in any 8th event ever. No bugger took them because they appeared to be not worth anything. So that encouraged a really interesting style of play where suddenly, if a monster can claim an objective, it becomes a really viable choice to start taking a monster again.
You mean a magma dragon?
I mean magma dragons. I mean terrorgeists. There was about 6 terrorgeists there, and only 2 people took the list, which was bonkers. So it really encouraged a different style of list writing. And I think that if you want to take the same list over and over again, you won't do as well throughout these events. And with what Cardiff did, where they changed the way their comp structure works, it encouraged people to think differently. With what you guys do, you encourage people to think differently. And I think that's the list at Cardiff were zany. I would have lost money on what I thought first place would have been if you'd have asked me 2 or 3 months beforehand. I'd have never thought it was a zany Empire list. Might have bet the Magma Dragon would be there, but the rest of the list I wouldn't.
Did anybody take Cathay in the end? Because I think they ported a Cathay list across, didn't they, for 8th?
I am not brave enough to start. The stuff that Cathay can do, if someone jumps into their rulebook, is obscene. The fact you can buy Ogre Crew for the equivalent of an Empire cannon and give them all pistols is a bit bonkers. And the special character who can turn from a level 4 foot Heaven's Mage to a dragon every other turn and heal with, like, when someone takes that, not only am I going to have to explain the rules every game, I need to remind myself of what they are every game, which, so no one did. And I think, I don't know, maybe I'll get brave enough to take him to next event because they're so wild, isn't it?
So again here, taking, I mean, in this case in Cardiff, Adam porting across Cathay from Old World. Again, remarkable. Okay, so there's a new faction that was only released, well, unless you want to go back to 3rd edition. And there's still the ability to kind of generate here. I mean, I think in Cardiff, they have for a long time sort of had, I guess, that their role has to be the radical ones, that they've changed the comp a lot more. Whereas we, I think, in London Legends, we're kind of the legacy of the old Triple Crown, which I don't know if the Jabronis ever went to that, but I mean that went for many years and had its comp system. And initially Cardiff used that, and obviously we sort of used that. And our one is probably more like what the Triple Crown was kind of originally. So we're kind of more on the sort of the steady, slightly more kind of conservative end. We're trying to sort of maintain kind of proper, well, it's not proper Warhammer in that sense of the word, but it's proper original patched version of Warhammer. But of course, variety is always good. And you've innovated a lot with your own Thundercocks comp pack and come up with something I think rather good there, which has obviously to kind of actually done something different to the old Triple Crown tally comp or variations of it, which I haven't really seen done before.
I like what you did, particularly with the Giants. Because in the last London Legends, I was like, I want every army to have the option of having a giant. And you took it one step further and just went, everyone had to bring a giant.
Mandated giant. Yeah, that was a fun one.
It was epic.
I think it was nice because it was the first event and we'd had a lot of backing from the community, from you guys. We were able to kind of write the compact however I really wanted to write it. So things like secret missions are something I've always loved about the original 40k, so 8th edition 40k. where you didn't really know what your opponent was doing until they did it. And I thought that was really cool. So we'll stick that in. And then Giants, they're fun. We'll stick Giants in there as well. Fortitude, we haven't done that since seventh ed. Let's stick for. So it was able to add quite a lot of these things in there. And I think to Luke's point on London Legends being more traditional or steady, I think you become the anchor then that allows other comps like mine to be a bit more varied.
So mid-September, you said for Thundercocks, yeah?
What was it, sorry, Simon?
You said September for Thundercocks?
September, either last weekend or second last weekend. I just need to work out which one is best, but it'll be held in Peterborough. We've got more budget for prizes than before. We had some really positive feedback from the comp system from before, and it's still at this point 3 months away. So we'll do a big review of the compact. We'll add some more stuff, take some stuff out. But like I said, you guys give us the ability to change and adapt it, so we can be the zany brother to the serious London Legends.
All right. I hope I can make this one. Okay. London Legends 2026. Mark, do you wanna kick us off?
No, you go for it, Simon. You've got it open.
Well, look,
You're
I
in
mean
control.
the numbers speak for themselves there. 7 warriors armies, 5 high elves, 3 ogres, and then every other faction. Are we missing any?
No, we've got them all.
We've got them all, haven't we? Yeah.
We have.
And obviously this is not including our armies, the swing armies, which we'll go through at the end.
And that would also mean, therefore, 36 armies as well, which is also quite significant. I mean, the numbers we've had at London Legends over the 4 years we've done it have, I think, varied. I believe it's 32 to 38, something like this. And so it's been extremely consistent and with quite a high turnover of players actually each time, actually, because we've had quite a lot of international players each year. But, the numbers, still holding up well.
I did wonder on this split of, because this, we can look at the different splits we've had over the last few years, and this year definitely has a higher prevalence of warriors and high elves. And I did wonder if that's because of our back to basics approach that we've taken this year.
Maybe.
There's some consistent themes in some of the armies as well, which I think we'll look at if we keep on this vein.
Some almost identical ones, I see.
Yeah.
The year of the warriors.
Yeah.
Oh, the all-important pizza tally.
It also starts with 7 and 5. Are all the Warriors of Chaos players eating pepperoni and all of the High Elves eating margaritas? Is there every pizza represented? Probably not.
But what I've noticed though is that last year the Hawaiian was a solid second and they've been bumped to third. Look.
Yeah, that's because people have taken a long, hard look at themselves in the mirror, apart from Alex, and worked out what they've done wrong with themselves.
I can think about the comp for the list, and I can really nail that and get that ahead of deadline. The minute you guys say, "And what's your pizza topping?" I'm like a deer in the headlights, and I just panic and say the first topping that comes to head. So I'm really glad it was Hawaiian and not shoelaces.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised though if the high elf players are the margarita eaters.
There was some horrible conglomerate. There was what was it called? The Meat Fielder or something like that I mean, as I said, I just think that these pizzas are just...
Oh, there was a burger one, wasn't there? Where it was like a burger.
Oh my God. They're just terrible. I mean, anyway.
All right. So I've got the laptop, guys, so I'll just scroll down and we'll sort of whiz through them, yeah?
We've also got pairings as well. So are these in order of pairings?
They're not, no. So these are in order of faction and then
alphabetical.
Yeah, and then we'll do the pairings after.
Yeah. So I'm gonna straight away give a little shout out. So we've got Brian here and Dale coming down from Scotland again, and apparently they're Taste and Turbo Wargaming. Send me the merch.
Send me the merch.
That sounds like a ring-in, doesn't it? I'm the 79th caller. Send me the.
So Brian this year's bringing Beastman. I think he did bring Beastman one year. I know he bought Warriors the last time he attended, but perhaps Beastman the first year he attended. I can't remember. But he's got a very, I'm going to call it a fairly standard Beastman list with a few tweaks, mainly because it's almost identical to what I ran at Thundercocks.
The Sundered Hoof.
Yeah, it is. So, obviously his Lord is 4 up save, -1 to hit, Crown of Command, will go probably in one of his blocks of Nurgle, just so that they become an immovable block. What I do like, he's got two reasonably big blocks of Bestigor, which is pretty solid. He's got the standard large block of Gore, and he's got two smaller units of Corn Gore, which I assume are for scoring, but it'd be interesting to see what he does with those.
Like about 140 Gore or Bestigor or something in this list. That's a lot of beastmen.
I love it.
Yeah, a lot of models.
Yeah,
And a lot of chaff as well.
A lot of chaff. Yeah, the standard chaff.
I think I would like to see some additional Hamiltons on the Corn Gore. I think they're quite easy points to find, and I think that would have been nice to change their output a little bit. But yeah, love the two big blocks of Nurgle Bestigor. They are tough to shift.
What wizard has he got? He's got Death, hasn't he, in Shadow? Okay.
Yeah.
Shadow.
Yeah, it's definitely gone to Shadow.
I mean, with being able to have marks on the Beastman, that has transformed the viability of the main blocks. I mean, they're so much more survivable now than they were without that piece of comping.
Makes a massive difference, and he's going to have his leadership 10 bubble as well.
I think it's nice that there are some changes like that. That all kind of events from Squig Hopper to London Legends have all kind of universally agreed that is the right thing to do, that they should keep their marks. They feel like more of a complete army with that addition to them. And it's quite scary to think that there was once a time where that wasn't a thing, or that you had to pay for them, God forbid, at one point.
Yeah.
Bit of Brett's. The Fey Enchantress.
Yeah, okay. So George Baker here running the Fey Enchantress as his general. I mean, a dubious pick, in my opinion. I mean, for the points. I mean, so she's leadership 9 on life here, which is interesting. Fey Enchantress, of course, is not a lawmaster on life. Sometimes believed that she actually is. And what else have we got? We've got the Paladin with Impetuous Knight. For an extra charge.
For those of us who don't know, why is she so expensive? She like
because the Fey Enchantress is expensive. Okay, so she's 545 points and she's a level 4 wizard. She has a few interesting abilities that are perhaps quite hard to price. She enables the Bretonnians to dice for first turn. That's one of the big things that she does. So you don't always go second with her. She also has an item that casts a random heavens spell that you get for free each turn. Yeah. She's got a familiar that gives +1 power, +1 discipline. There are quite a lot of good things that she does.
MR3,
but for 545 points, a bit
causes terror. And apparently, if you're in base-to-base contact, you must take an initiative test or take a wound with no saves. Although you'd hope that she was never in base-to-base contact.
Well, she's also on a kind of an awkward base as well. I mean, depending on, so she'll have sort of one of her sides sticking out. But anyway, back to this list. Okay, so got interesting stuff here. There's the Virtue of Duty Paladin for a static combat res of 2, actually. You sometimes put the War Banner on that character to get +3. A Paladin with Virtue of Heroism and Heartwood Lance. Curious, not a believer in Virtue of Heroism on Paladin. We've got a Beast Wizard and then some medium-sized blocks of Knights, a couple of units of Yeomen for some chaff, 9 Grail Knights and 2 Trebs. I think it's not a bad list. I don't think the Fey Enchantress is optimal, though, at all.
It's worth pointing. The only reason you can get really heroism and all of that on the Paladin is because we allow it on top of the magic items, the virtues.
Yeah, it's got 2 units of mounted yeomen in there. Before our changes, we'd have got an 2 soft comp points for that. Bretonnians, I think, actually kind of hurt a bit here by, obviously, we've removed Monstrous Arcanum and Storm of Magic this year. And so Bretonnians, you would have seen, when they were allowed them, would have 2 single unicorns and then 2 single Pegasi. Back there to the yeomen, who are not really very good at all, but they're the best available chaff that there are for Bretonnians, unless you actually use 5 Knights Errant, which I actually also think are I've got some utility. And we have another Bretonnian. There we go.
The Crusader host of Lucian del la Rosnora.
Well, outstanding. Do we have here a Virtue of Heroism Lord? Yes, we do. Virtue of Heroism, of course, in Old World, this is absolutely ubiquitous with the Bretonnian Lord. I mean, in 8th Ed, yeah, it does the same sort of thing. I mean, it's a thing called Heroic Killing Blow, which sinks anything on a 6. And he's got the Green Knight and so therefore no level 4 wizard. Intriguing. But 2 damsels, 1 on life, a level 2, risky, because, might get thrown of vines. Earthblood's not great on Bretonians because we've got the blessing anyway. 1 on beasts with the prayer icon. Is that a foot damsel?
Yep.
I think it is, and it's going to be in a
is.
big men-at-arms unit for the blessing for a big block.
Yep. Yeah,
And
we've got the horde of them.
yeah, I mean, it's a lot of peasants here. 60 peasants.
Yeah, not that
Delicious.
many knights.
What a unit.
Legend.
What a legend. Both of those armies, Brett armies, have both got a large unit of Grau Knights, 8 or 9 of them.
Yeah.
Bretonians get devastating charge, of course. We were talking about Beastmen a minute ago in terms of the free marks. Bretonians, devastating charge in pretty much all these compacts, which again is as transformative, if not more transformative, to Bretonians than I think the marks are to Beastmen. It means your Grau Knights have got 3 attacks each on the charge. When that unit of 8 Grau Knights charges, you're getting, what would it be? 9, 18, 20, 22 weapon score 5, strength 6 attacks.
So the Chaos Dwarves. Erky is back. I hope I pronounced that right, Erky. Yes, he's got the Sorcerer Prophet on a Bale Taurus. It's like
600
Oldwell, isn't
points.
it?
I had to look up what this did, and it sounds actually really good fun.
Lore of Death.
Rerolls miscasts, 1-up save, 4-up ward. The weapon you have to roll at the start of each game. It's a d6 roll, and you can get an ability for him, which is either a +1 channel, +1 dispel, strength 3 breath weapon, eternal hatred, multi-wounds d3, or always wounds on a 2+ with no armor save.
Yeah.
Can that guy actually fight the Sorcerer Prophet?
He's not bad.
He's not bad.
Yeah, I think
he's akin to a warrior sorcerer. So like they're pretty meaty if they do get stuck in.
Yeah, 600-point monster there though.
Yeah,
with a wizard on it. I mean, Chaos Dwarf magic is really good.
No, I think he's taken Death. He hasn't taken Law of Ashur.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Law of Death. Yeah.
Okay. Also,
but
really
it's still
strong.
a level 4 Death Wizard, so
Yeah.
Castellan BSB. Level 1 on fire, another level 1 on fire. So these Demon Smith sorcerers are good because they're actually like engineers as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
40 Hobgoblins, 22 Infernal Guard, 10 Infernal Guard, 4 Bull Centaurs, yeah, bit of punch there, 2 Death Shriekers, Magma Destroyer. It's good. It's a good list.
The 10 guard is the ranged, isn't it? The 18-inch strength 4 halberd guns.
Which one, sorry?
The 10 unit of 10 has got the fire glaives.
Oh, the fire glaives, yeah.
Yeah, there's a Kadai Destroyer in here as well. 2 Death Shriekers and a Magma Cannon. I mean, again, the problem with Chaos Dwarves is, I mean, they look quite good on paper, I think, a lot of the time, but you're very reliant on your war machines and your level 4 wizard. And the problem with the Kadai Destroyer, of course, is that it's landlocked, it's frenzied. If the opponent has chaff, you've got to find a way of clearing that out. And that's where, maybe your small arm shooting kind of comes in. But I see Kadais get chaffed a lot.
Yeah.
It's the best way to deal with them, let's be honest. So
the Magma Cannons are amazing, though. All right. Mr. Duff is back after a brief break from Warhammer. The Keeper of Secrets, level 4 on Shadow. 2 Heralds, Mask of Slanesh, 2 units of Demonettes.
The mask is quite funky, right? So I believe in a previous edition, 7th Ed, the mask was quite a ubiquitous pick, but in 8th Ed, I don't think she's really taken. Maybe I don't know if you've seen her taken, Alex, as a demon player.
I played her at the last event we went to at Cardiff. I did see against her, and she's one of the units that I'm always like, oh no, I understand the mask. And then my opponent reads the rule set to me of what she does, and I'm like, oh, well, this is horrible. Why isn't everyone taking this model? So it's a real bit of a shock when it comes up. I think Michael Duff's got a really nice list. I would have liked to have seen Slanesh on his general, though. I like Shadow as a lore, but I think Slanesh is a very good lore, especially when you're on a movement 10 monster. You can get the nice choir off, you can get the nice acquiescence off. I think it does help quite a lot in this list. I'm not sure what Shadow brings here, other than a big Mind Razor on Slanesh Demonettes.
Yeah, I think I think it's a bit. Yeah, for me, I agree with you, Alex. A little bit too. I think you're going to be in the position where you're six dicing Mind Razor quite a lot with this list. So your keeper might go down the hole. Whereas I say, I think Slanesh a few more options there.
So is Slanesh is that the one which has got a big six
Choir.
choir? So I think he's gone shadow because he wasn't because we've limited it to 5 dice on the sixth spell. That's why
I
he's
was just
gone
about to say,
shadow
Yeah,
over.
miss
that
the six
hurts.
dice.
That
Yeah.
hurts. I mean, two spells it particularly hurts: Curse of the Horned Rat and the Big Choir.
Yeah.
Not being able to throw sixes. Mind Razor, you're still going to be able to get on 5 because it's only a
Yeah.
19 to
So
cast.
that's why I think he's gone shadow. Um,
Yeah,
and
to be
it
honest
might
though,
well.
I don't think the 5 dice harms Slanesh that much because if you can do the lower version of the Kako choir, the smaller
Actually,
version of it, and you've got the acquiescence, right? So those two combined, you're gonna get random movement on something.
and there's great utility in the other spells as well. Taking
Yeah.
extra dice for each chest, the slicing shards, D6 strength 4 on piercing. Like there's really
Hysterical
good
Frenzy
utility in
as
those
well.
spells. Frenzy,
Yeah.
frenzy either way. I think it's
Yeah.
just very good lore, and I think it does better than just six dicing or five dicing.
Is
Mind
it the
Razor
one which
return.
also has the random movement spell, which you keep messing me up with, Luke, when you've had it on
Yeah,
your?
this was indeed. I gathered. Yes, I learned quite quickly that that was rather a good spell. However, I do think not having a six dice cacophonic choir is quite meaningful because
Yeah.
that is a dice. That is a spell. Genuinely, if you are losing, you can just throw the dice at that, and against certain opposition, especially like if you're against Warriors of Chaos or something, or where there's lots of single models, that it can absolutely that can be a bit of a table flipping spell. The Caco Bomb, it can actually
The
genuinely win a game on its own. And there are not many spells.
Also, also deals damage. That's the other part that's wild. It's not just the random
Yeah,
movement. It also deals damage to the units as well. So you can clear out chaff quite nicely with it. On a 20-inch move like the Keeper of Secrets, you can run to get in range of war machines, and suddenly you're making these bolt throwers move D6 inches a turn, and then they're
Yeah.
not shooting because they moved last turn. And chaff can't get in the way because it's only D6 movement. I really like Slanesh for a Keeper of Secrets, and I'm upset Michael Duff didn't take it.
I mean,
Well,
it's worth saying though that with that herald, it's the first herald's going to give the unit always strikes first, and that combined with maybe the toughness lowering, it'll still cause some damage, just maybe not as
well,
much.
there is another demons list that we're about to come across momentarily. But just to finish off Michael's list here, so he's dropped the all the chariots, just got the one chariot in the list, 5 fiends, 5 seekers, and it's the 2 skull cannons. So it's not completely Slanesh,
Yeah,
and
boo.
therefore he's taking the
Yes,
-3 for the 2 skull cannons.
delicious.
I've seen
Absolutely.
that. So
Every day
on
of the
that,
week.
I mean, you can. I've seen on Nav's demon army where it's got a full wall of Nurgle and has 2 skull cannons. The skull cannons have plague bearers actually on them. So
Yeah.
there's been an evolution that skull cannons are so ubiquitous that you
Yeah.
actually model them with different demons.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mine have pink horrors on. So in a minute I'll grab mine off the shelf because mine have pink horrors on. They don't have
Nice.
bloodletters on me.
Horrors.
Yeah, right.
Well,
Like literally, it's the kind of just everyone wants to have skull cannons. Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
lovely.
That's not very corn, is it? That's the very skulls for the skull god, is it?
And this is just a real function here of 8th edition. The skull cannon being so strong that competitive demon list wanting to have a pair of skull cannons in them, hence these bizarre evolutions that we're seeing here.
Wonderful thing about skull cannons though is when you roll on the Reign of Chaos and you get the one that affects corn and it affects the skull cannon, it normally kills them because I believe it's a leadership test in 3d6
Yeah.
with no save. So it normally absolutely blows them up if ever they get hit with the 6, which is the saving grace for them, I think.
Well, indeed, which would be particularly ironic in the Michael Duff kind of army because it would be Slanesh revenging
oh yeah,
on
yeah.
those skull cannons which had come along, probably heavily bribed.
So Matt Willis has gone for the keeper on Law of Slanesh.
Always like Matt.
What's
A
the
very similar
difference?
list, right? The 2 heralds, the demonettes, the seekers. Okay, he's got some pink horrors in there, and he's got the 2 skull cannon. Very similar list, I would say.
One of his heralds is on the big chariot.
Yes, there's the big chariot rather than the small one. Yeah.
What's the difference between exalted gifts and lesser gifts? I mean, obviously it's a different
Oh, it's an
table.
exalted gift.
Yeah.
on his general.
Quality. So one is
Oh.
the Exalted is a 75-point
Yeah.
equivalent. Greater is
You
a
hardly ever
50-point
see the
equivalent, and
Exalted.
Lesser is 25. They're not. Double Greater is traditionally the better choice, or Greater to Lesser is traditionally the good choice. The Exalted gifts aren't actually that good for their points
No.
cost,
Yeah.
in my opinion. Whereas the Greater ones, you have great choice in 2-up armor save, re-roll and pick some lessers. Like they have some multi wounds too, I believe, is a Greater one as well. So they're really, really good. And the Exalted ones just feel like overkill for what your demon is trying to do.
Indeed, I don't think there are some interesting ones in there. Like there's one called the Portaglyph, for example, which have some interesting, but they're a bit strange. Oh, I think that the lesser gift with the whip base, the whip, it seems to me to be what I would pick if I was running Slanesh.
I would have, if I was building this, I'd have one greater on the keeper and 2 lesser, and one of them would be the whip.
The pink horror is a quite interesting. I mean, I know that there are. I've never played this list where there are lots of horror blocks and they're all casting kind of blue fire, but that was also my understanding is that's kind of also part of one version of a competitive kind of demons list. Although I have not seen it myself.
It's got a very nice niche where they miscast the same way that non-wizard units miscast, like not witch elves. I forget what they're called now.
Doomfire
Warlocks. The Warlocks. They all kind of misfire in a strange way. And the pink horrors, when they miscast, generate wounds back a lot of the time based on damage dealt. So actually, a lot of the time, a miscasting horror unit can end up with more wounds than it started with.
Yeah. Dark Elves, Alex?
So, worth noting that this is our first seed. I've done the top 10 seeds if they're returning. So Nikki narrowly missed out.
How has she got this down to 0 comp?
Because she's sneaky.
Yeah.
she knows how to list build.
Yeah.
But yeah, she very narrowly missed out on 3rd seed last year. James just pipped her to it. So I'm sure she'll be vying for that podium this year.
Was a double level 4 here on Pegasi, Dark and Death.
Yeah.
Did they
level 3 and level 4?
Yeah.
No, only one's on a Pegasus.
3, I think.
No, the level 3's on foot, I think, Luke. Huh?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
I would wager she's going with the hag with everyone else in the giant blender block that Nikki has built.
I think the hag and the Bloodright Shine are going in with the bleak swords to cause a terror bomb because it's going to go like a -4 to leadership.
Right. This was the trick that I didn't not when I looked at this similar list last time, I did not realize what this did.
Yeah.
But this was why Nikki was perhaps a little unlucky in the last round to be against James Wrights and most of his army being immune to psychology, which is something of a weakness to this list.
2 Hydra, 2 Charybdis, love it.
Yeah. Well, the Charybdis will also make them re-roll leadership tests if she gets it in with that unit as well. So it's even more.
I think it's just got some interactions here that are quite niche, and you might not realize. It'd be easy to get caught with your pants down. Let's put it like this: once you've learned your lesson, you've learned your lesson. But you might not quite realize the implications. I think of what it does.
Yeah.
It's a really interesting list.
Black Dragon Egg does.
+1. Oh, it does. It's a
breath weapon, right?
Strength 6, toughness 6 for the model, and a strength 2 breath weapon.
Yeah.
I think the issue with lists like this is if you build a list that can only fight in one field, you run the risk of that field not materializing. So, like Luke was saying about immune psychology, you also run the risk if you play a list that is a bit fast cav, a bit avoidance, or a bit shooting. You run the risk that actually you don't have the tools to deal with that. So I like how she's spreading out into monsters, which had a bit more of a viable threat. And I'd really like to see one of her games pay off where she does this terror bombing and deletes a unit with their opponent left picking their jaw up off the table.
Yeah, I think it's the general problem with lists that are quite sort of surprise centric. I mean, sometimes you just not face the kind of the opposition, or if you do, the opposition knows what you're going to do and plays very defensively, and you end up getting a quite a small win or a draw.
Shame of it is if you play someone at an event, normally what happens over the lunch break or overnight is that that person will regale on the tales of their loss that game, and they might tell an unsuspecting next player about the event. So if one of the generals gets beaten by a list and they get caught with their pants down, sure as shit, every other general knows about it. The next time you play, there's the surprise element has gone. So you almost want it to be that you played all the games in isolation and that you're unable to get caught like that.
Yeah, but there's still the capacity, though, even to pull some surprises. In eighth edition, as I say, and this is just kind of remarkable when looking at things from an old world perspective. Whereas I say, there aren't really surprises because the good stuff is just very obvious.
So Greg's first time at the event, I think.
I think so, yes.
Dreadlord on a Manticore.
He's very much, I think, not played for a long time. Not eighth anyway, and he's coming back to it. And
I imagine Greg's. Oh, go on.
Sorry, go on. He did call his list something about his Manticore, and I can't remember what it was, but it had an interesting.
My Manticore and me, yes.
Yeah.
I think it was something like Mount My Manticore.
Yeah.
I imagine Greg's a lovely guy, and I imagine he's a really good player. If you'd have shown me this list beforehand and said how many tournaments has Greg been to, when I see BSB Master on Cold One, I'm going not many.
Yeah. So yeah, he's got the Witch Elves, Cold One Knights.
10 Executioners.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a lovely
scoring.
list. A lovely list.
Yeah.
Yeah, 10 Executioners to score using their great damage resistant capacities to hold objectives. No, it's nice.
It's
I mean, it looked
list.
nice on the table.
The expression that we would traditionally call this list is that Greg's playing a real honest game of Warhammer.
Yeah, I'd call him a hero for bringing a Dreadlord on a Manticore. I think he just gets kudos for that.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Yes, perhaps might have been better in previous editions, this list. Indeed, perhaps that is where it actually played.
Came from?
Yes.
Well,
-2 dwarf list next.
I can talk about dwarves. Yeah, so a Rune Lord. I think we got a +1 for Rune Lords, haven't we? You don't normally see that. It is a +1. Fiery Ring of Thor is a breath weapon. That's good. 2 runes of spell breaking.
Yeah.
Master Rune of Grudgony for the ward save. 2 units of Thunderers. 3 units of Thunderers, sorry. 2 cannons, 2 gyros, hammerers, drakes, 2 orn guns. Yeah, solid dwarf list. Got lots of shooting.
Lots of shooting.
2 gyrocopters. It's best to go 3 or 4, but 2 is good.
Yeah.
Also, what is this? 42 Thunderers as well as the Iron Drakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of
Simon, what's the rule with gyrocopters and vanguarding? So I know you can buy Vanguard, but there's a rule about how many can have Vanguard at once. I know he hasn't, but what's the rule about buying
every other one you can basically Vanguard, I think it is.
And they have a rule like Goblin Spear Chuckers, right? Where you can have more than 3 in special?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I think it's like the 2 for 1, as it were.
19 hammerers, not probably 8th edition optimal there. Too many of them.
Not enough, I don't think so. Yeah, they haven't got the save. Although he has got shields just to give him that little extra against shooting. And he's gone for the war banner on them, which will help out the numbers a little bit.
When I looked at this list earlier, I was worried that 20 hammers was a comp point, and that's why he'd taken 19. And I was frantically trying to work out what was overpowered about.
They're a plus, hammers. I think, aren't they? Are hammers a plus?
No.
No. Okay.
I think he's just got 19 painted, but he's got 2 organ guns with the rune of accuracy. So any unit coming towards them is going to be a bit thinner by the time it gets there.
Yeah. Again, like sort of 19 hammers is probably a unit you would have seen in previous editions with that kind of great weapon and horde and stuff. That was when suddenly you need 40 of these guys.
I mean, I don't know if you found it, Simon. I don't know if you favour hammerers over iron breakers or something else. But when I've been on building lists, which aren't a million miles different from this, the struggle is finding the points to fit enough hammerers in.
Yeah. I like both. I slightly favour iron breakers in 8th edition. Yeah. Daniel was worth mentioning. Had a ticket to the event last year and couldn't make it last minute. He had to bail. So I hope he makes it this year and has a good time. All right, here he is.
I was just going to say the fact he's gone Thunderers. I've always been a preferer of crossbows, just for the range.
Oh
so I'm curious to see how that does.
Right, Empire. Go on, Alex.
Number 1 seed, returning champion. He's after his additional hand weapon.
Yes. this is markedly different from the list he took last time. I believe he won last year with some janky +10 Warriors list with a shrine in it, and it is all manner of shouldn't have been on the top tables at the end. This is very good. Very similar to the one he's just taken to Cardiff, and he pulled first place at the Cardiff event as well. So I think it's a very, very nice list. One thing I've said to Adam quite a lot is that I like that he can take a different list to most events, and he still manages to find his feet with it. Carl Franz is the new addition to this list. Great for leadership, great for the bubble. Mage in there, a little bit of light. Almost all infantry in the knights, which is nice. And then the tail end is where the real sting is, which is the 3 cannons, steam tank, 2 steam tanks in this version of the list, and the demigryphs as well. Horrible list of a lot of armor to get through as well. I think that a lot of the generals at the beginning of this year kind of had to get together and said, comp, when it's a tally comp, actually, it's kind of worth eating the minus points because this list is a -8. The conversation is, could this list get 8 points over not taking 2 steam tanks and the demis over the weekend? If the answer is yes, actually, it's probably still worth taking. So Dana went through a couple of iterations of this list. The change to Magma Dragons not being allowed, I think, hurt the structure of this list a lot because that did quite a bit of heavy lifting the last one. But really strong list. David's a really fantastic player. I really like it as an Empire list because it steers away from War Altar, Halberdiers. I think it's really one-sided and it's been doing really well for him.
How does a Karl Franz work in this? Because he's at 400 points, he's on a horse, and he's presumably going to be going with one of these little knight units. That would be not what I would expect. I would maybe a large knight unit with him in, perhaps. But
yeah. So my understanding is that when you take a large unit of knights, you have then a target to give people. Whereas if he is the smaller knight units, he has a lot of variability to jump from unit to unit. In the previous edition, this list lost Steam Tank, a lot of the wizards, and it subbed in Elsbeth, and it had the Magma Dragon. And Elsbeth was a unique piece to the puzzle because of her survivability, the fact she was on a dragon, her movability. And what Daly wanted to do in this is because he doesn't have a BSB, he needs leadership. And because Karl Franz gives 18-inch leadership, that is valuable for his knight units. Because he gives leadership 10, that's valuable for the knight units as well. And he becomes a strange piece to kind of fix this puzzle with. I don't think this is the final version we'll see of this list from Daly. I don't think it's 100% there, but this is the best that he's got for the current setting. And again, testament to what we said earlier, he's been restricted in what he can take, so he's had to change things. He's had to make sacrifices, he's had to change his list from one event to another. And I think if we go to other events like 40k or the Old World or Ninth Age, where the compacts don't change between events, we wouldn't have had this. We'd have one list that suddenly becomes a meta tyrant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's intriguing. It's intriguing list. It reminds me a little, in some ways, of a MSU Britannia list, although of course it doesn't have the steam tanks aren't there. Although it's interesting. Does Franz have a ward save?
As an innate ward save, he does. Franz's real ability in this list is that he's leadership 10, he gives 18 inches, and he's a little bit survivable. I think Franz is the first piece that gets changed in this puzzle if you can find the piece that replaces him.
Mm-hmm. And I suppose he adds that extra little bit of punch as well in combat.
It's the same reason that I think players who don't take BSB look towards Gorbad for the 18 inches, because that's really nice if you're not a large target and it's a high leadership, and it kind of buys you out of having to have a BSB. Because the minute you go to leadership 8 or leadership 9, you suddenly BSB becomes vital. And where in this list do you find the points for BSB? Suddenly you're losing a demigryph, suddenly you're losing a steam tank. Where does he go? Does he sit in one of the small knight units with Karl Franz? Does he sit in a separate one? Then it becomes a target. So to take the BSB out, you have to make adjustments for that. And the adjustment has to be you find a character that probably isn't right for it, but fills a lot of those gaps.
Yeah. This leadership 10, with Skylar, with Chaos, you're getting a leadership 10 general there. And leadership 10 allows you to sort of get away without a BSB. I still think it's risky though, because if you can just lose games with that. I don't know what the relative probability of leadership 10 with no reroll versus leadership 9 with a reroll is. I think 9 with a reroll is better than 10 without one.
Yeah. My initial reaction on this list is that obviously it's quite low on wounds in that it doesn't have the blocks, and if the enemy has lots of shooting, they could just start taking out these knight units. Obviously the cannons can take out your enemy war machines.
Yes.
But if you don't get first turn and some rock lobbers start knocking these knight units early on, it could get a bit dicey. Obviously,
and then you're trying to snipe out Franz as well if that happens.
Yeah. Obviously they're not fast cap, right? So you only need 5 of them to score. So they can all score, right? And then they've all got banners, haven't they? So well, no, actually not all of them. Most of them have banners, yeah,
Most.
apart from one of them there.
I think he uses the 5 cannon that he's got to destroy enemy war machines, hide Franz in turn 1, and blow up the enemy war machines. I think that's how Franz survives, even in those small units. The fact that there are 5 cannons.
5 cannons, though.
Yeah.
Anyway,
He's an
that's your
evil man.
-8.
He's one of those guys who brings absolute filth to the table, but you don't mind because he's so nice. He lulls you in.
Oh, don't say that. Yeah, I can hear his head growing already.
And someone he might be playing round 1 is a -7 high elf list.
It's worth saying Adam's got the lowest comp out of everybody.
Yes.
Daily. I could believe that. -8.
Right, high elves, tech list.
So we've got Tactless here, obviously a real ubiquitous 8th sort of staple competitively. Okay, we've got the level 1 with the Forbidden Rod, which is going to go in a unit of White Lions, I guess, that we can't see at the moment.
Worth
which is going to have
saying
the Banner
that
of the
this
World Dragon.
tech list for Adam is taking battle magic, where he can choose his 8 different spells.
Well,
Oh, no, 5 spells. Sorry, whatever.
Oh, I don't know when I've ever seen him not do that. But
Oh, well, wait until one of the
So this is
other
an interesting
lists.
question. Is your compact for London Legends allowing Tetris to pick his spells per game as per the rulebook, or have you amended that at all?
I don't
per
think we
game,
amended
I
it.
think.
Okay.
I assume it's
So one of
we
the
have-
one of the interesting changes at Cardiff was Cardiff said that Tetris who picked more spells in that direction had to pick them before the event and submit them with the list. So they were stagnant throughout the event. And the same with Kairos. Kairos had to pick his spells at the beginning of the tournament and they were locked in for every game. More people took Kairos than have been at the last 4 or 5 events in the UK when he was restricted on his spell choice. And now at your event where he's free to pick whatever he wants, no one took him.
No, but everybody took Techless instead.
I still think Kairos and Tactless would be excellent, even with that. I mean, but nonetheless, because I mean, Tactless players do seem to pick. I mean, there's a variation of a couple of the spells, the opponent contingent, but many of them stay the same.
I think the problem is if you have to pick your spells for every game, you have to take a lot of safe choices.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you don't know what you're playing. Whereas on a matchup, and Kairos for the same degree, when I'm playing against my opponent, I can go heavy into metal, I can go heavy into fire, I can go heavy into heavens, and I can really labor depending on my opponent. If I don't know what my opponent is, doesn't matter how many metal spells I pick. If I'm playing Orcs and Goblins, they're useless to me. So you've got to play a safer selection if you have to pick at the beginning of the event.
I like that
Yeah.
as a restriction, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's not.
Yeah.
This is quite a shooty list, isn't it, really? We've got the bolt throwers, the sisters,
You've got
archers,
the Light Council.
yeah, the handmaiden.
Yeah, so Tactless will have a strength 6 banishment, which is where a lot of the real estate here comes in. And four bolt throwers, right? Okay.
Yeah. I had the pleasure of playing against Adam at the last event. So Adam and I, Cardiff, I managed to get a game in on the Friday against it. Lovely guy, and the army is really, really solid. It holds itself together really well.
I love that there's the sacrificial mage as well, where they've got the forbidden rod on it, where you get the D6 dice, but could just kill him off.
Well, yes, but he goes in the unit with the Banner of the World Dragon, and so he has a 2-up ward save against that.
That's it is.
Yes, so somebody ruled that the forbidden rod D3 wounds counts as magic, and so it's yes, that's why it's a normally not very good item become rather good.
And here it is again.
Yes,
second best high elf player.
Yeah, I mean, this is also have Caradrian in it as well. Often seen. I don't know if Tactless and Caradrian lived at the same. Well, I guess High Elves are very long lived, so presumably they were contemporaries.
Not on
in the High Elf timeline,
or not on the Phoenix though, which is
Caradrian on foot. Yeah,
he's still good. He's still good on foot. I mean, go with some Phoenix Guard or White Lions actually.
But
me neither.
Very similar list to Adam.
Small unit of White Lions here. I mean, that means that it's more of a tactlessy kind of bunker, I think. But I mean, Mike has done similar with this, right? About 20 White Lions with tactless.
Yeah. It feels very, very reminiscent of
It's
Mike's
basically Mike. It looks like Mike's list to me.
I think it is very, very similar to, if not identical to.
Yes, I see. Okay, right now, indeed,
Because you've even got
because
the
I believe I've
trademark
faced
multiple bolt
this
throws,
exactly.
which is his MO. Four bolt throws table is chef's kiss to Mr. Sylvester. So I think
Oh,
it
it looks
is.
like
It
it's
I'd
is.
almost
marking
be
It
things
is
interested to see
off.
the list.
basically Mike's list.
I think we compare
It
him like by
is.
like.
I've
There we
never
go.
seen Mike take anything but Dark Elves, so I've obviously missed out on
No,
that.
no, no.
Oh no,
Well,
he
there's
did.
also a high elf one
Yeah.
that is that list as
He's
such.
got medals for most armies now.
Mm.
Another
Techless
high
again.
elf with high magic though, which is very interesting. Um, do we comp him less if he has high magic?
No, I don't think so.
I think there is an argument for having
Elf
two separate
crotch.
comps for Tactless if he takes high magic or doesn't, to be honest,
Yeah.
because high magic is not really a
Especially
lot.
considering there's a different comp for slans on the magic choices they take as well. So it feels
Indeed,
like it's
indeed.
prudent.
Does sorry, lack of knowledge showing through here. If he takes high magic, he's a lore master, isn't he? Does he still get? Is he a lore master if he takes high magic?
I don't
Techless?
know.
I don't know.
Um, okay.
Okay.
I didn't.
I
I didn't
think he
know if he
probably
was.
is because he would
Yeah.
have 8 spells,
If
then only 4. I think he is a lore
and
master.
maybe that's the case of if he is, then if you only take 5 as the battle magic, I don't know if he takes 5 or 8 for that as well.
I think the thing is, if Tactless is on high magic, I think you're better taking our Alariel, who just I think does that job kind of better if you want high magic.
Yeah, the Tellus has got some very nice tools though with the extra dice per spell, the ignore the first miscast. He's got
Yeah.
some very nice
That's one
utility in the back
use,
pocket
isn't
as
it?
well. Oh, but it only needs to be one use. When you've got that one turn where it dominates.
Yeah.
When I played
And then
against
you
Adam Knight and his Tellus, he got a phase which was something like double 2, and he channeled and he popped the staff and he got through like 6 or 7 spells that phase.
Yeah,
And
I
you've
mean,
got
because eighth ed is
the
a very,
dispel
very
spell.
cutthroat. I think. I mean, just having those spells where you turn where you were able to dominate, you win the game nearly in one turn. So you slam the
It's nice
foot on the
because
gas.
it's nice, and I've always liked that about Warhammer Fantasy over 40k, in that a 6 is always a wound. And I've always thought that was really, really interesting when I first started dipping my toes into 40k and they said, no, 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 you're not strong enough to wound this tank. It always blew my mind. I was like, that doesn't feel very fun for me that
But that
I lack the strength to do it.
that's only I'm going to say only an 8th thing, because if you were playing in 6th or before, you could have it that you couldn't wound stuff because you weren't
I
strong
don't
enough.
know when that
Yeah.
came in. I think it may have been
Was it
in sixth
7th?
that anything could wound it or something. But certainly in fourth and fifth, there were ends on the
Yeah.
table. There are
Yeah.
ends on the table in old
There was in
world as
6th,
well.
I'm
They've
sure
come
of it.
back. Yeah.
And I think it's nice because to go back to the point is that it feels like there's always a comeback moment, and it feels like it's never too late in fantasy. And I
No.
think that you can always have those turns, like when you're saying pop the staff, get the extra dice per turn, really turn on the gas. You can really start swinging things back in your favor, and it means that there's very little snowball effect, and there always feels like there's a turn where you can fight for something.
And that's
I
why
think
I
it's a
love 8th.
critical. I think that's a critical point. Yeah. So again, in old world, for a lot of reasons, because the sixes is less of it, but it's also because you don't have step up in old world. So you again, you just pasted. There's nothing you can do. You don't have magic that can pull you right back. There is a snowball effect where you're down. You're probably just going down. You're not able to get out often. 34 Phoenix Guard in this. Worth it.
I love the fact that we've got a unit of 10 silver helms. I still think it should be 15, but
Well, the 15 one, I mean, if you have the right kind of prints,
yeah,
it's actually,
The
I think,
Cav
quite
prints, the
competitive.
classic.
The Silver Helm bus. But 34 Phoenix Guard, that's normally more than you tend to see.
And a flame spire hero.
A flame spire phoenix. Yeah, you don't see them, do you?
A few of those kind of appear actually in the last couple of years in 8th. I don't know if it's because comp has changed, but
The drive-by damage is very nice.
Mm.
Very good at clearing chaff because of the drive-by attack. Same way with pterodons and the rocks and the screamers. It's very nice to not have to chaff with them and chaff with them. I think that this list runs into a bit of a problem, which I think other players in the past have fallen foul of, where there becomes a saturation point in a unit where once you make a unit so big and so Death Star and so unkillable, you ironically get less people fighting it than you intended. And I think that this list has probably hit that break point where you put 34 Phoenix Guard, 3 or 4 heroes, Tetlas, and you build this unit that is so scary, even other combat lists will go out of their way and not fight it. So it's beneficial, I think, in lists like this to actually less warriors in that unit is probably more impactful for you because it makes more units think they'll have a go at it as opposed to building a unit that is so big no one ever wants to get stuck into it. Ironically, I think this Phoenix Guard will see very little combat against players who are smart until the combat is beneficial for them.
Absolutely. I think that's the problem with the Death Star. Difficult to beat the list big, but also difficult to win big as well for that reason.
Unlike me, who will just go, well, I've got 58 gore. I'm just going to put it into that witch off block and see what happens.
God loves a trier, Mark. God loves a trier.
So close. Yeah.
You're also best in race beastman. Don't you worry about it. That strategy's obviously working for you.
I've got 58 gore.
The problem is when you put them on a hill and they all fall down, and then you take several minutes to. They're a bit vulnerable to that. The plastic gore, that require. Yes.
You just need another unit of 58 gore to ambush them, man.
Yeah.
So here we have John Turner. Now, John Turner was a ninth age player coming back after a long hiatus. Rather a good player, actually. So, as I say, one of the sort of kind of the giants from the mountains who has kind of come back to this high elf list. I don't think John doesn't necessarily know 8th brilliantly, though. I believe. Archmage here, fine level 4 Book of Hoth. I mean, who would argue with that? A level 1 mage with a death wizard here to get Spirit Leech. Obviously, level 1's on death, rather nice. What else have we got? I mean, fairly standard list, I'd say, actually. 3 fast cav, White Lions, Phoenix Guard. Yeah, I mean, it's a quite actually kind of refreshingly vanilla, actually. I mean, good.
It's got the 2 chariots in, which is nice to see them both.
Yeah, is there a soft point for the Sky Cutter and the Lion Chariot? Yeah.
Both of them. But they are 120 points, so it's hardly that soft sort of thing.
Yeah. Makes sense to take both, though. Yeah.
I seem to remember 9th edition, the Sky Cutter was actually quite a viable choice. I think the version 0.99, version 1 of 9th Age actually make that quite a difficult unit to deal with. And I think it was quite a shock coming back to 8th edition after 9th Age and kind of unlearning how good some units were. Like the War Altar of Gork and Mork was a tyrant in 9th Age up until version 1. And when Monstrous Arcanum was allowed at Cardiff and at London, you look at it, you go, oh yeah, I'll take that. You look at the rules and go, oh, how the mighty have fallen. This is not even close to how I remember it being.
There's that kind of what goes around comes around. I mean, in Old World, they made like Dragon Ogres and Forsaken really good. Warriors of Chaos. So, yeah, I think could do well with that. I mean, it's you've always got always in with a chance with, with high elves, especially with these kind of missions because of how varied they can be. Hero, Christopher Salisbury. Yeah.
Yeah, hero.
I would like to say, I would actually argue that this is the most competitive list that he has put together so far.
I would agree. I've had the pleasure of playing Chris, and he is just painfully nice. Yeah, it is impossible to have a tough time playing against him. But I think Chris falls into one of the problems our other players have done, which is this is a really honest game of Warhammer. Yeah.
He just wants to bring all the toys he can because he loves his models.
I've never seen a Moondragon ever before, actually. I didn't even know they existed.
I love how it's just
get ready to have your world rocked.
I love how
what does the Moondragon do? Is it it's worse than a Star Dragon, right?
Yeah, is it the 6s one?
Yeah, it's the 6s one.
Yeah.
I see, sort of indeterminate. So it's better than the Sun Dragon, but not as good as the Star Dragon.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry,
some strange constellation family of dragons.
20 spearmen. I'm loving this.
Well, hold on. Yeah. Let's just start at the beginning. General, Prince, naked.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Archmage, level 3.
No,
level
items
4,
overrated.
level 3 Archmage on a Moondragon, yeah? Noble.
Point. Items,
Noble
don't need them.
BSB on a steed with barding, no extra weapons,
No shield,
No shield.
no
nothing.
shield,
Yeah,
nothing.
wow.
Yeah. Mage, level 1 on Shadow, standard. And only then we start to get the full command on the units.
This is maximizing point efficiency. You can get more archers in by taking less items. If I looked at this list, I would be convinced this is a closed list tournament and that all the
Yeah.
items were hidden from me.
No. Okay. So no. As I said, just I do like the prince with nothing.
Absolute hero.
This is actually maybe better than anything I've ever seen before. It's great.
Just Prince with a hand.
I mean, this is real back to basics Hammer, right?
Yeah.
So
Fantastic.
it's just the prince is just a man on foot.
Did he take Empire at Thundercox?
Yes, he
can't
took
remember.
Empire, and I think he wanted to take Skaven or Vampires at one point as well. And he was saying, "I've just got it painted," and he made a swap at the last minute to his army because he just finished painting some models. And at first, I attributed his list submission down to it was just the models he painted. And when I quizzed him on the list, and I was like, "Oh, how did you write it? What was your thought process behind it?" It was I just love these models. And I think he's done the same thing again. Either that, or he spilled Whiteout or Tipex in the army section of his rulebook and doesn't know that items are possible to be taken on these characters.
This almost seems like the kind of army that would be like in the army books. In the old army books, you used to get like a sort of photocopyable roster at the end. You sort of write out your army on hand or something. It's a little bit like this.
Or it looks like it's the list from the Island of Blood starter set, where they've been like, don't worry about items. This is your first game into 8th edition. Just a prince, don't worry about it. Dragon,
Yeah.
don't worry about
Yeah.
upgrades. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
See, random aside, sorry, going on a tangent because I love to. Luke, I found my old 4th edition roster book, which was like the tear out one
I
which
know.
you could do.
Well, I
And
had
was
that as well.
I literally found it the other day in my cupboard. I was like, yes.
I think handwritten lists should be a thing. Actually, I think maybe we could give like a comp point for someone that puts those together.
No,
I'm
no,
confident
I
it
have
was
to
at ninth
check that.
age. I'm confident it was at ninth age, and I don't remember if it's been at other events, but you got points if you had a themed army list submission as well. So the orc list I remember submitting was on like tea-dyed parchment, written with the left hand. So there was at least one event where you got bonus points if you submitted a list that was flavored after your army.
The funny thing about this list as well is that if he didn't take that second chariot, he'd be Highlander.
Yeah, excellent.
Just
It's
it
really
doesn't
going to
care.
come in there in combination with the prince with no items in the spearman. The second, exactly. This is beauty. This is a thing of beauty. I mean, excellent. Okay, so here's Nav with a last minute sort of submission. Apparently, this is the this is the final ever
One
tournament
song.
of 8th edition. Nav's going.
Yeah,
I would say that he has retired a number of times before and come back. So
Yeah.
I think this feels like the real retirement. This
No,
feels like the real one.
it's
All
just
the armies
another-
have gone now, and he's very invested into clicks at the minute, and he's been playing that religiously. And I think all the army's been sold, the dust off the shelf, and this is one last hurrah.
No, I think
Well, I'll
I think
believe
he's
it.
gonna
I'll
be-
believe it when I see it. I mean, given
Yeah.
actually, I'm going round there to play him tomorrow. So
He
I
turned up
think
at the last London event, and he was getting rid of some stuff. He was selling it. He wasn't playing, and he was walking around the venue at London with 2 or 3 battle maps over his shoulder, and he looked a bit like a rug salesman because he was like going between the aisles with his roll of mats over his shoulder, and he was flogging the lot. He got rid of all of his Skaven. I think this is his retirement.
I think he's the Tyson Fury of 8th edition. I think he's
indeed,
I
I
think
think I think the thing is certain things. The siren song of the past comes back. So anyway, lizards then. So he certainly got at least the lizards, and certainly still got his orcs. But is this okay? So it's the Teti. I've played this before. The Teti Echo list. Does it have several Stegdons in it?
No,
No, it's not
Gorok
list.
as well. What is Gorok the one who's stubborn? Yeah.
Yes.
Gorok, built-in stubborn, 5-up predatory fighter. He's basically, and he's a +1, so he's better. He's basically the same points as a tooled up Scarvet on cold one, with a, does much the same thing.
So he will go with the Saurus.
He's a great pick.
It's
Oh, there's
interesting.
29
that
swords. I
just-
didn't even see them there.
Skinks with javelins here. Lots of skinks with javelins. Again, I thought blowpipes were the meta in
So I prefer javelins and the shield because you get the 5-up save, you still get quick to fire, still get poison, you just don't get the double tap. But because they've only got, is it BS3? If you move and long range, you can't get your poison anyway with blowpipes on them. So I actually think javelins are better, but it's it's
I
personal
agree with Mark.
preference.
I think javelins do feel like the better choice with skinks.
So 2 blocks and then lots of sort of poison shooting. The list that I faced
So
that had Techeko in was Stegodon
can we
Fest.
can we go up a bit actually? Because there is one really interesting thing in this list, and that is the 6 Razordon Hunt and Pack.
Yeah.
So that is a first that I've seen that many in one unit. In fact, most people don't take Razordon full stop. But
Razordon pair very nicely with Heavens from Teto
yes,
Echo.
because of the
They're viable. I think Salamanders on the whole are just a superior choice, but I can
yeah,
see the merit in taking a Heavens Lawmaster and the 6 Razordon in the hunting pack as well.
absolutely, and
Fine
also
choice.
also with the hide magic as well for hand on them.
Mhm.
I really want to see how that Razordon pack do. Out of everything, I think that's probably the most interesting choice in this whole list.
Well, I'm going to find out tomorrow what it does.
Oh, good,
Yeah,
yeah,
well,
yeah.
so I mean, why don't you just explain now? I mean, for those of us who don't know what Razor do, I mean, I understand why Lizardman goes well
Yes,
with high
so
magic, but
Razordons, they've got an 18-inch strength 4, quick to fire shot, which is basically the number of shots equal to an artillery dice. So they're a bit like grape shot, basically. Um, they can, if they misfire, D3 skink handlers die, and they've got the monster handler rules, and they can re-roll an artillery dice when they stand and shoot. So if you charge that pack, you could be in a world of hate. Um,
are they cavalry?
no, they
Monstrous Beasts.
monstrous beast
Monstrous beasts.
I
with
think
like
they have the rule, Mark, correct me if I'm wrong,
monster
where
and
if they're
handler.
charged, they have to stand and shoot.
Yes, they
So they
have to
can't ever
stand and
elect to
shoot.
flee. They have to stand and shoot if able to.
Mm.
They're still movement 6. They've still got the handlers. Scaly
3
skin in there.
attacks.
Skirmish is nice. They're not easy to be shot at in reverse as well. But yeah,
Yeah,
the quick to
they're
fire
not
shots
bad in
is mean with
combat
them.
either.
No.
So yeah, it'd be really good to see how that does.
All right,
Oh
and
yeah,
plus one as well on the
feed
top.
that back, Luke.
Is taste.
Yes.
Oh, toast and taste.
Yeah.
I'm back in the room now.
So another one of our Scottish friends who's coming down again, returning. Pretty similar Lizardman list, as it were, but a few differences. So he's again got Teto. But
What is
Teto,
similar here? There's a Carnosaur, there's
yeah,
Dropsy
okay,
Claw. This is
similar
similar
to
at all, Mark.
something I like to run. Let's put it that way. But yeah, he's gone the Carnosaur, absolute hero, um, which is going to be brilliant. His Teto Echo is going to probably go in the skink cohort. So you'll have your two Croxadors and Teto in that cohort, which I have run before, and it's not worked out too well for me. So I'll be interesting to see how it works for him. Um,
What
Thanks for
does
reading that off. I'm really excited to see what this Carnosaur does. I think it's a really cool build. Stegodon Helm in there and Lolloping Stride. Biting Blade, I think, is 2 attacks.
no,
Or maybe it's
it's
AP one.
AP.
I think
Yeah.
it's just a really mean creature. Teto Echo is, I think, such a standard in all Lizardmen lists. I think he's so good at so many different things. I
Top 3
think
heroes, special character hero, without a doubt, in the top 3.
I agree.
Um,
I agree.
I mean, I've run something similar, but I tend to prefer the dual Carnosaur if I'm going to do it with Tete.
Yeah.
Then
dual Carnosaur?
Hmm?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can squeeze more in if you really want to.
Luke knows that I've faced him with double Carnosaur, double Razor Gore, not Razor Gore, wrong army, Razordons or whatever they're called. What's the flying ones? Oh, God, brain's failing me.
Pterodons?
No, the other ones with the
Ripidactyls?
Ripidactyls. Thank you.
What's this unfathomable presence?
That
Ooh,
is
that's not the ethereal one. Is that Terra?
it is
Well,
God,
Mark,
I
we got a
wrote it
cheat sheet
down.
for this.
Oh, it's the D3 magic res each turn you roll. So instead of
Magic
taking like
Res.
an obsidian lodestone or something like that, he's gone for the
D3 magic
random.
rest per turn.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
With the standard 3 dice channel on a 5+. But he's also gone with two Razordons or whatever they're called.
Razordons are back, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Year
the
of the
first of
Razordon.
3 Ogre Kingdoms lists.
Yes. So
Ogres are such a nice army. They're just so easy for you to pick up and just start playing. I'm too competitive to play ogres because I see the flaws in them, but I would love to play them. And it's such a fun army.
so I will say something about Reese. He's obviously 10th seed. He's the best in race ogres,
He is.
and this
BIR.
list is basically he was on holiday, forgot the cutoff date, and basically sent I think the list from last year.
What a Chad.
So it's a -6 list, huh?
So he's actually got a really nice army as well. I think a lot of it is
Yeah.
3D printed, and all his
Yeah.
ogres are riding dinosaurs. Dinosaurs, I was going to say dinosaurs.
It's
If you asked me without looking to write an Ogre Kingdoms list, this is the list I'd write.
Yeah,
I mean, if you
it's
said
good.
no comp, this is what I'd write.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, I think the thing is that because it's quite meta, it's sort of had the book thrown at it by the comp system. -6 feels, it's good, but -6 feels a bit heavy.
Especially considering, other than the Mornfang and the Iron Blaster, the best save you've got is 5 up. T4, like they just feel a little bit naked. Like Iron Guts are really good when they hit. It's such a fun unit, but you have to remember they're T4, 5 up save. You know, low initiative, striking last. Like they're a really cool unit, and I think that his Maw Wizard is going to have to do a lot of heavy lifting with the Troll Guts regeneration to keep them in the fight for a long period of time, especially in a field with 7 High Elves, 4 Strikes First, higher initiative, all the Death Mages flying around. It's a really nice list. I just worry about its survivability in this field.
Yeah, it's the thing is with it is the ogres, they don't have the flexibility when there are death wizards around, or indeed even shadow wizards, or anything that can deal with this this gut star. There are vulnerabilities.
I'm thinking about those magma cannons.
Exactly.
That's a terrible matchup for them straight away. You think about the Magma Dragon from before. I think there's a lot of D3 wound really hurts these guys. I want it to do well. I want this to be the fire that ignites ogres in me as a really competitive army. I just really struggle to get past T4 no save.
Yeah, I think it's the just the problems with these against certain matchups. Another ogre list here, pretty much very similar from the Slaughtermaster. With the Obsidian Trinket here, we of course are allowing a ward save against Purple Sun with magic resistance, which is something that particularly perhaps interests the ogres. Couple of units of 3 lead belchers here, a triple saber tusk though, and a stone thorn. Which,
if I remember correctly, has an absolutely gorgeous ogre list as well. I think it's the jungle themed one he had, and if memory serves me correctly, this is a really stunning list. I think it might have been in contention for best painted, if not one best painted last year.
I think that was Reese's one.
That was Reese.
Was it Reese's one?
Yeah. So Lewis is one of our painting award winners from previous things, and every year he basically, after the last competition finishes, he starts painting a new army. So I've seen a few tidbits of this one on Instagram, but I haven't seen a finished product. So it'll be good to see what it's like.
Ogres are always, they're an interesting painting one because on some level they're, I think, quite good for a beginner painter, but I also think a master painter can do a lot with them as well because, obviously every figure is that much larger. There's a small model count, so you can really do some intense work.
Yeah, I'd love to paint an ogre army. I'd love to paint an ogre army, but I just, I'm not a big fan of the Games Workshop models. I'd like to find some other ogres.
Well, if you like that kind of sort of Mongolian kind of look, but if you don't, at the same time, if you go, I like what ogres look like in previous editions, but
I
to
love
do a whole kingdom
third
army,
fourth army. Yeah.
Indeed, you'd have to find ways of doing stuff like to
Is
get Mournfangs and stuff with that, though,
is
because
the Stonehorn? That's the one where if you hit it with like a cannon, it halves the wounds, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
oh,
I
it's
think the
good. The
really nice thing
Stone
about
Thumb's
ogres,
good. Yeah,
with regards to painting them specifically, is they're such a really accessible army to convert as well. It's really easy for you to put a
mm,
theme in an ogre list because
mm.
every model, like you said, Luke, is a standout character. If you have a look at Reese's list, you have a look at Lewis' list, you have a look at total model count, ignoring the Noblars, it's so low that you can really make every model look like a character, and it really adds that depth. They're also so big and chunky, and they're able for you to stick so much stuff that's noticeable on them.
Yeah,
If you put pirate hats on orcs,
yeah.
it goes quite amiss because of how small they are. When you look at pirate ogres and how big they are, it's really easy to put hooks and peg legs and all sorts on them to really make them fit.
Yeah, the conversion is something I was that particularly because I mean to convert and to use green stuff at the normal 28mm scale is one thing, but to do it on the scale of an ogre becomes then a lot more accessible. Another ogre here, +10 ogre list here.
Our highest plus
Kai,
list.
coming in from Germany, three German players making the journey here. A tyrant, not often seen. Bruiser.
So it's worth saying on
Big
the
names in
tyrant,
here as well.
the tyrant is it's basically strength 6. It's got 6 up ward, so it's 6 weapon skill, 6 strength 6 attacks from that tyrant. So it's nothing to sneeze at. And
Yep.
the enemy has to re-roll successful wounds against it because of the trickster's helm.
Yeah, that's a good item on an
Mm.
ogre tyrant. Yeah.
Lots of big names here.
And
you know,
it's worth saying that's a bit of a theme with his characters. So his bruiser, the big name for that death cheater, is a 1-use re-roll wounds when you're attacking the BSB as well.
Is it the
Longstrider.
greedy fist?
No, the other one.
Is it the
The
no? I'm
greedy
saying not.
fist
Isn't that the one where
does.
you can steal a wizard level if you punch a wizard?
Oh, I'm sure. I will
I'm
check
pretty sure
later.
that's the one where if you, it's almost like Arcane Unforging in weapon form, where if you strike a creature, if you strike a wizard, you take wizard levels off them, and if it's a magic item, you take their magic item off them as well. I remember it because it's ambiguous as to what counts
Yeah.
as a hit or not. It just says like if it inflicts a wound. So
Yes.
a lot of people in the very first, when the Ogre book was really released, would take a brace of pistols on their Khan or Tyrant, and they'd be arguing that they could shoot the wizard levels off of wizards because it just says to wound. It doesn't say like to wound in close combat, for example. So you'd have people standing in the back line shooting their pistols and saying, "Well, that's a wound." So that's your magic weapon's gone, your wizard level's gone.
You're right.
So it's really
So
cool item.
presumably though, Alex, that got FAQ'd or
That's in
comped
that's in
out.
most FAQs that it. I believe it's in
Right.
your one as well, which
Mm.
implies that it needs to be a
You're
close
right.
combat
Yeah,
hit,
it gives
not a
+1
ranged hit.
strength, 6 ward. If a magic weapon inflicts a wound which is saved, then it's rendered to a mundane weapon. And then if you hit a wizard, they lose a magic level for everything you hit.
Yeah, which is transformed by pistols, obviously,
Yeah.
in this case. So
So I think that other bruiser with the charm shield and the long strider, which gives +1 movement, I think that would be done as a lone character, sort of running around almost
cowboy.
like chaff.
Mm.
Yeah.
Too
What I think with ogre
gorgeous.
characters is they struggle to
Mm.
get a good armor save, and especially their characters, you've really got to invest quite a lot in them to get them a good armor save, which means they're quite weak to being cowboys. One of the problems you have to run when you run a flyrant or turret on a flying carpet was you can never get a good armor save on them, so they're always weak in that regard.
Mm.
So how has he got to +10 then?
Um,
No magic.
Gorgeous.
It's got the gorges though. I like them. I mean, they're liability. They're ambushers for a start, but they've got killing blow. They're pretty good. I think they you tend to have to run them with who's the special character who drags the cauldron along.
Oh,
Scrag the
Butcher.
Slaughterer.
Mm.
Slaughter, sorry, yeah.
I'd love to see him on the table one day.
Again, that's another cool theme to an army where the more kills he gets, the more powerful you gorges get. Like,
Yeah.
it's really cool. The problem is you take it to an event and you get curb stomped by the first 3 opponents. It quickly humbles you, sir. Not taking Strike the Slaughter ever again.
No
he's got
wizard
the,
on this.
he's got the Thunder Tusk though, which does the always strike last.
thrower.
Has the stone thrower on it.
Yeah, it's obviously it's not the best list, but it actually got quite a lot of threats there, isn't there?
Mm.
Like it's all going to come at you at once, and it's
Yeah, I mean, a no wizard balls out +10. It's interesting.
yeah,
I
Feels
mean,
like
it's
they came
reliant
to
on the
drink.
+10 quite strongly, of course.
Yeah, feels like they came to drink and not think. Right, just roll dice and let it happen.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, of course. There aren't too many no wizard lists that are particularly viable, I think, in eight. But there are some exceptions, I think, to that. Um, I think you could make a Wall of Nurgle with no wizard with Epidemus, pretty good. Um,
Right, we've got one Orcs and Goblins list. It is Stanislav, who's for his first time at the event. Grimgor,
Grimgor Ironhide, what a man! Stanislaw after my own heart.
legend.
Watch it. And
BSB,
how many shamans?
Black Orc Talisman of Endurance on a boar.
Oh yeah.
I'm already excited to see this scroll down.
Yeah. He's
Three
got
Night
he's got the
Goblin
big and
Shamans.
bore unit. You'll
Two
love
units
that,
of Night
Simon.
Goblins. No, three units of Night Goblins.
9
Forest
fanatics.
Goblins. 19 Immortals. 9 Ball Boys. 4 Spear Chuckers. Oh, legend. Legend.
I mean, the
This is another.
Immortals. I don't think I mean, I've seen Nav on the Immortals a few times. I mean, I think you need a few more than them than that. I don't. They're not great, but I also think they're not terrible either.
Weapon skill 5 hatred.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
they're not. And the problem with the Orcs and Goblins book is there are so many more viable choices than Black Orcs and Immortals. Their book is saturated with good choices, and I think that the Immortals are so far down on the list to pick.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. I don't rate the Immortals much. I mean, yes, obviously Grimgor, like he's got ASF, right? And he can kill something.
always
He
strike
kills you.
first, 1 up save, 4 up ward, strength 7, 5 attacks.
Yeah.
So he's a combat beast, but he
You don't
doesn't
you don't need to
offer
you don't need to kill him
much
though.
more to the army.
You just need to kill a bunch of Black Orcs and they'll
Mhm.
defeat the unit and the unit will run away.
Grimgor's ability should be that he can take one unit of Black Orcs as core, because then he becomes viable, Black Orcs become viable, and that unit suddenly becomes a bit of a threat. The fact they're still coming out as special, if not rare, means that you still need to pay 625 in core, which means you still need to, like, there's a lot of ifs that kind of stack up there. Whereas if Grimgor's ability for an expensive guy who you could argue could be built better out of a Black Orc character, you could take the Immortals as core, that then becomes a bit of a thinking point.
I completely agree. I mean, and it seems totally thematic that that's what Grimgor would do.
I still love
he
Orcs
doesn't.
and
Yeah.
Goblins. I love everything about them. You could bring the worst Orc and Goblin list, and I'd still think you were a hero.
Yeah, I mean it's got some shooting. Not too much though. But
I don't think it goes together that well. I think that's
yeah.
the thing. I mean, it has got 9 fanatics and some shooting.
Yeah, it's a funsies list, yeah.
Yeah, it's a fun list.
Stanislaw's
We say
trying
that,
to
and he'll do
compete.
really well.
Yeah, he's trying to compete, I think, in every field a little bit, and I think he's struggling by not committing to one or two areas to push into. Having a
Yeah.
little bit of shooting, a little bit of magic, a little bit of combat always feels a bit disjointed. And I think if you look at some of the better lists, they focus on doing one or two things and just dominating those phases. Look at Adam Daly's list, for example. He has
Yeah.
found one area that he wants to go into, and he's just pushing hard into that corner. And I think if you try and do too many things, each one is done a little bit less than it should be.
So I look at it, because I can consider myself semi-competitive. So this list is more something I would love to play at a tournament, and I'd expect it to be middle tables, and loving every minute of it.
Right, the Skaven.
Me.
Whose
Oh, it's one of everyone,
reprobate
isn't it? Of
list?
course, I was the only one. So this is my Skaven list. Very much enjoyed Skaven. I've got an army painted up for Cardiff. It was their first official outing there at Cardiff, and I'm bringing them back for London Legends as well. It was wild where the comp list I wrote was, I think, a +2 when I took it to or a 0 when I took it to Cardiff, and I put the exact same list into your comp point. It felt about -5, and I thought, oh, we'll change some stuff here, haven't we?
Presumably, that's because Adam has. So our Skaven comp is very like the Triple Crown comp used to be, but there were very few players that took Skaven for whatever reason. They disappeared.
I have no idea where they went.
Indeed, they vanished. Whereas when I went over to play in Canada and played an 8th event, then loads of the Skaven suddenly say, "Oh yeah, that's fantastic." They were in a completely different place with that. But I guess maybe Adam has made the comp more generous, whereas we're still anchored with what they used to have.
Yeah, and I think it's tough because I think the minute you relax a comp for an event, people will naturally try and exploit the weakness of what you've changed, and then suddenly it becomes a bit of a floodgate, which sours the experience for a lot of people. So I think changing a comp is a very slow, consistent thing you need to do with a lot of tweaking of the dials to get it right. So I think that you and Adam are doing the right thing by very minor changes to kind of get it in line. The culmination of this is that no one has taken skating for the last 4 or 5 events to Cardiff, so the comp has got slowly more and more relaxed over time until a degenerate like me got their hands on the book and started to. I imagine the comp will ramp the other way now because of it.
We've actually, I mean, I'm sure that you've got a suitable minus there, but we've actually overlooked that Globadiers, haven't we? Because we were trying to take away the easy con points for 50 points, and you can get a +1 for 5 Globadiers.
Yeah. I remember that John Blake told me and blew my mind 2 or 3 Cardiffs ago that if you took a Orc War Boss on a chariot for 90 points, he was +2 comp, and that blew my mind. So I consistently now look at the cheap comp points. 5 Globadiers also aren't a pushover. They're a really, really interesting unit. Always
I can't
winning
believe
stuff on
we
a
missed
4+.
that. We tried to remove all the +1s which were under 100 points. So I think just because nobody ever takes Skaven, we totally overlooked it.
Yeah, we must have missed that one.
At Cardiff, there was one soft point
unbreakable unit
each.
here?
The Screaming Bell that the Gracer is mounted on is unbreakable.
I see. Right, I must have missed that.
Yeah,
it just says bell.
It just says bell.
Yeah,
very small at the front bell to try and trick people. It's
Yeah.
it's an interesting list. It's had a lot of changes since the last event that I ran it at. Stuff that I've learned from it. It used to have a Warp Lightning cannon in it. I've played 11 games with the Warp Lightning cannon, and across all those turns, it has killed one Squid Goober, and that's it. And I'm just sick to death of taking it, so I'm not going to take it. First question I get asked by a lot of people is, why didn't you take it? That's why. It's terrible. I really don't like it.
Last time I mean, the last time I faced them with Bretonians, the Warp Lightning Cannon was horrible.
Yeah. I think that itself is the theme of Skaven. I think what is really interesting about the book and what really enticed me to play them is they are really like swingy. If things are going your way, they're really going your way. And if things don't go your way, it's really, really tough to recover from.
And that's themey for Skaven, though.
It is, and I think it's really interesting
cool.
to do that. I like the coming back from tough situations to be into. I like the randomness of what's going on there. Your comp made it quite tough to think about, which is nice, and yeah, it changed a little bit from the last event. And all I need to do is come 9th, I think, 10th or 9th, and I can steal best in race from Alex Davis. So that's my achievement for the weekend.
I love that you've got a plague priest and no actual plague monks.
Oh, plague priest, that's naughty. He's toughness 4 with a flail. He's 4 or 5 attacks with frenzy. He's high initiative, 1 spell on plague, which is really nice. He's a mean little character. He was a warlock at one point, and all the warlocks kept doing was casting lightning over and over again. But the plague priest, I'm hoping, will surprise some people this weekend. Don't want to give away too many of my secrets, but he's a mean model.
The taking just actually a random rules question, Weeping Blade on the assassin. Does that? Can you still use the additional hand weapon with that? Does it count as a magic weapon?
I don't think you can, and I haven't been playing it that way.
No, I didn't
the same
think
way
you
that
could,
at the last
but
event,
I thought
when
I'd double check it.
When I took the tail weapon on him before, I also don't think it applies to the tail weapon as well. So I've been playing it as honest as possible that I think the intent is the base attacks he gets it. Otherwise, how is his offhand weapon also Weeping Blade? It doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Yeah,
I would really love to play Skaven. They're probably one of the armies I would most, if I could just magic an army, out of thin air, it probably would be that one. But such a high model count.
They're a lot of fun. They're really that's the killer, but they are a high model count. Luckily, I've got a friend in the Generals who's got a 3D printer, so buying the files and getting them printed was incredibly cheap. Allowed me to pay to get them painted. The units are also quite wacky. The rules kind of the errata for Skaven is about 5 pages long, where they correct a lot of the rule stuff, which is quite interesting. And there's no one else playing at the minute, and I think it's a shame. I think it's a really, really nice army, really interesting, and I hope to breed more Skaven players out there because they are wild to play against.
It's interesting because in old world, Skaven have sort of got the most plain and vanilla kind of book because they're a legacy army. And so it's actually a kind of a fulcrum point for some comparisons, actually, because of course this book, which is the seventh ed book that Skaven Blizzard has got so much flavor in it in terms of the way in which Skaven feel on the tables compared to how blandified they are in Old World. So it's nice to see them here.
I think that reading through things like Felix and Gotrek and reading through the lore, there's so much story behind Skaven that make it really interesting to take as well. I'm incredibly envious that players submitted named characters with our Beastman player naming his characters. That's something I'd love to enforce more of, because I think getting stories behind your characters, I think, makes it feel so much more impactful across the weekend. So I'm really kicking myself I didn't. I'm also not 3,000 points. Just for anyone watching, I don't want anyone to think that they bring a guest on the podcast and he gets to rack an extra 500 points. It is 2-5. It is legally the right amount of points.
Right, so we got Max's Tomb Kings. Tomb Kings, Queen Khalida.
Yeah.
So Tomb
Fairly
Kings,
standard.
so he's on slightly more than 2-5, yeah? So he's on, what is he on? 2-6.
2-6.
Yeah.
So the giant block of archers with Khalida in there, so always hits on
archers,
the 4.
okay. Yeah.
I mean, it's one of the ways of making Tomb Kings competitive. Khalida.
Oh, Wizarding Hat.
Wizarding Hat. Yeah.
I'm not sure that is.
Soft point, Luke, is what it is. I think it's 2 soft points.
No, I think it's 2, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
I think the issue is that when you have one unit of 56 archers, obviously Khalida goes in them, so the ballistic skill is massively improved. And I believe they get poisoned from her being in the unit as well, which is really, really good.
Poison. The problem is on the 4.
If you run 4 or 5 units at this, you can shoot 1 a turn, can't you? If you're talking about, for example, Adam Daly's 6-man knight units, you're going to put 56 shots into one 6-man knight unit. Sure, you might kill that 1 unit, but the target saturation, you're going to miss out on shooting a lot of things, which is why this feels very reminiscent of the 38 Phoenix Guard in a unit. This feels like this unit is too big to be efficient.
I think the other problem is if you get 1 unit into it, then it's going to be winning combats. That's the thing. And there's not, I mean, you really need the countercharge threats there, and there's not a lot. And against something like Warriors of Chaos or Bretonians, where I've played this kind of list, it's just not able to deal with what's being thrown at it.
No, I've got terrible memories of the Casket of Souls, though, and what that Light of Death or whatever it's called does.
Yeah, of course. Of course, you'll have to keep Dispel dice back for that. I mean, it's far too risky to let that go off.
I don't know how good they are, but I'm assuming chariots are countercharge units, though, right? There's 2 units of 3 chariots.
They are, but they're only strength 4. And the Acropolis Knights are all right, but I mean, if you've got Ramhotep and a bunch of stuff, or more of them, maybe, but it's the countercharge is the tricky thing there. Yeah. I mean, if there's not, something that's kind of several strong, fast things. I mean, I'm talking, I guess, as someone who tends to pick armies that are kind of quite fast and have those threats. I mean, maybe it would do better, but
So I played against Bodan's Vampires a week or 2 ago.
Oh, 5th seed.
5th seed, yeah.
Yeah.
He's taken a -5 on this for the Vampire Lord and the Terrorgeist. Everything's on Lore of Vampires.
And it seems to me with this, come.
I think running the Black Knight bus is a really interesting list. Chris ran it at the last event at Cardiff to 0 success. The game lost. And Jack Chapman ran it at the Thundercock event early in the year. He came, I think, 4th or 5th, which is his first game back to 8th since 9th edition. So I think it is a strong list. I think the Double Terrorgeist stay back. The Black Knight bus parks itself and waits for the opportune charge. So it is really nice when you can stack it up with characters. I think if you scroll up a little bit, Simon, he's also got the White King on a horse as well. Yeah, he should be on a horse in the unit. Yeah, which is another great unit to have in there. The problem we realized was that Barded Steeds and Barded Nightmares don't have the ignore terrain rule that the Black Knights have.
Yeah,
so they don't have that spectral, the ethereal rule. Yeah. So it's something that I think catches a lot of vampire players out, as well as their opponent, if they don't realize that's a rule they have, because a lot of them think that Black Knights synonymously have ignore terrain, that ethereal movement. Actually, the characters in there don't. And the characters' mounts in there are impacted by barding, whereas the barded horses from Black Knights aren't. So the unit is slower and a little bit less maneuverable about that.
Yeah,
I think the problem
I
with all of
noticed as
submissions, got to be
well
careful.
in the vampire book, the Bard in Nightmare and the Bard of Steel are actually war beasts rather than cavalry. Does
They are
that mean
indeed.
you can
Yep.
stop them?
Uh, no, I think because they're mounted, they can't. In the FAQ, it corrects that to say that all
Oh,
mounted
right.
of one variant can't be.
Okay.
But it is interesting. I think at one point, prior to their most recent book, it was threatened they'd have a different base size because of their troop type. So I know now it's the correct base size, but they might have even had to stick to the side at one point. It's a really nice list. I think the problem, I would have liked to have seen another lore in there other than vampires. I get the raising, but I think if you'd have got one of the uh if you could have changed maybe the Khan race round to get a vampire in the unit as well, I think just another lord just adds the extra flavor this list needs.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, one to watch. Got
Really nice list,
Belial
though.
on the
Really
level
nice list.
2 as well. And
Yeah, yeah.
all sort of vampires. Right. Here's Harry's Warriors. So we got 7 Warriors lists. So should we go through them a bit quicker? Because we don't want to.
Okay, so this one, I mean, all the trimmings, I don't think it's almost not possible to get a more expensive Demon Prince than this. I mean, literally, it's got everything. I mean,
This
it's
is the
weapon skill
build, isn't it?
9, -1 to hit, so a lot of
We'll
stuff's going
call
to be
it the
hitting this on
standard for
6s.
this Demon Prince.
I mean, this is the absolute filthy Nurgle Demon Prince, which in one of Adam Bassett's events was -10. So some people don't like him. Hero on Juggernaut, interesting.
Not one.
No, to presumably to go with some Juggernauts, which are later. I think if you're going to use Jugger heroes, you need to kind of go for scale. Couple of chariots on Slanesh, always fantastic, and Marauder Horse are the core. And these are these ones that have light armor, or are these fast cav ones?
Fast cav ones,
They're
but they put the
fast cav
marker
ones,
corner
so
there.
they can't score.
No.
But there are a lot of them, and they've all. I mean, they've got shields and flails. I mean, the flails. It's going to be 10 strength, 5 attacks, and some horses. So not nothing, but they obviously they go over super easy. Chimera, a hell cannon, and 4 skull crushers, which are going to have the 2 characters in them. Yeah, I think that's a really interesting list. I mean, the Marauder Horse are the really interesting thing. And how many Marauder Horse units has it got here?
4.
4.
So this is the list that Harry took to, or a variant of the one that he took to Cardiff as well. And he's had some real success with his Marauder Horseman unit. The typical build, I think, for them is not to add the flails and do Marcus Slanesh. And the change was prompted by a comp penalty in at least the Cardiff comp, which was perm Mark of Slanesh score horseman unit.
Yeah. There was some lobbying with that. Yes.
So we put the corn on to kind of mitigate part of the immune psychology penalty of them. Actually, when he was getting into combat, they were tearing up. They were doing the work. They were doing quite a surprising amount of heavy lifting in there for chaff. And at 100 points each, you can really throw them into some units without needing to worry too much about them in reserve. Hellcannon, I think, is a nice change to add to the list. Originally, I think it had 2 units of smaller skull crushers in there, and instead it's gone for the big unit. Harry's another one of the generals who kind of just said, we all kind of unanimously for this event at least kind of said, let's just take what we want to bring. The comp penalty will matter. Looking at Harry's Demon Prince, as an example, it's -3, I think, -3, -4 for the build of Harry's Demon Prince. The build is the question I would be asking if I was Harry is, will that Demon Prince get me 4 tournament points this weekend? Absolutely. He plays Reese Brown. He rips a Purple Sun through that hole. Yes. That's 4 tournament points right there. So is it worth taking and be a -5? Absolutely, because I think he can earn those points back, which is vital.
And it's the first time he's not brought Chaos Dwarves to London Legends.
It's the first time he's not.
The difficulty that the Nurgle Demon Prince. I mean, it's War Machines that's the problem. However, I mean, it's really that he should never die really in combat, or very seldom.
Soul Feeder's nice, Dragonbane Gem's nice, Charm Shield's nice. I think he's ignoring all the skull cannons. He's ignoring all the Rooms of Fire on the Dwarf machines. He's ignoring the Screaming Skull Catapult because that's flaming as well. He's ignoring the Magma Cannons. There's lots of fire that's getting around there. And for those Empire pesky 5-man cannon lists, he'll have to play a bit of a different game with. But most people, he can kind of eat 1 or 2 against it and then pick a charge, jump into combat, and where he's relatively safe.
Exactly, and then he's got Soul Feeder. I mean, yeah, the immunity to fire there, because it's surprising how much of many of the War Machines are actually flaming.
And nice. And that's why dwarves, you take 2 organ guns, and they're both going for him.
Yep. Dom with the Warriors of Chaos this time round.
I think this is the most interesting of all the warrior lists.
I think it's my favorite list. Maybe not even at the Warriors. Maybe at the event. I think this is my favorite list.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so what do we got here? I'll scroll back up. What's the Lord? It is
Sorcerer Lord.
Sorcerer Lord. Okay, fair enough. Sorcerer Lord with the Ogre Blade.
1-up save.
Stone Enchanted Shield, Soul Feeder. On the Steed, movement 20 with a march.
And Vanguard
with the level 4
Vanguard.
on Slanesh and Vanguard. Yeah. BSB on Demonic Mount with the third Eye of Zeech. He needs to play a little bit safer, but that's a really strong build for that BSB. Like, he's not getting shifted anytime soon.
Standard BSB, let's be honest.
Level 1 Marcus Leech.
Yeah.
For the double with the scroll. Again, Chaos Armor plus the Charm Shield means they're already at a 3-up save. That's a really reliable save.
2-up save.
Another yes, a 2-up save. Another hero, Honesty to Slanesh with the Luxcone and the Stale Skin, reroll 1-up with the Halberd. You've got the Warrior block with the Banner of Discipline, nice. Marauders in core with the Flails, love that. These are the Horsemen with Slanesh. Then you've got these 7 Hellstriders, which can have all these guys jump in them. And then the cream on top is the double Hell Cannon at the bottom. This, I think, is a really cool list.
Hell Scourges on the Hellstriders as well, which you seldom see.
Yeah. I imagine he had 7 points spare. Like, I can't imagine that was a tactical
choice. What do they do?
I can't even remember. They do something that you run past units and they do some damage, I believe.
No. The Hell Scourges, I believe, are the combat whips they have. They replace the
spears.
Oh,
that's 9th age. I might be getting confused there.
Yeah, they have a whip, I think, which does
always strike first in combat. Yeah, I like this list. I think it's definitely the most interesting of the Warriors ones.
It trades real first-class combat power for a bunch of extra flexibility because the units here are individually not as strong, generally, as one would generally associate with Warriors. But it does have some extra flexibility.
And the really nice gimmick that I think is going to get a lot of people with this is once that unit kills 2 or 3 units in combat, he gets Dev Charge, he gets a 4-up ward save. That Slanesh unit has that Reaper of Souls ability, Hunter of Souls ability, where if you start putting chaff or give it easy charges on its movement 10 Swift Stride, playing against the Ogres, for example, taking those single Saber Tusks out, that suddenly becomes something you've really got to think about. Do I want Dom to have this unit? Because I'm buffing him for the next combat. And suddenly when all those guys have got a 4-up ward save and the 2 characters are in there and everyone's got Dev Charge, that becomes a real tough unit to get into, led by a Sorcerer Lord of all people, with a random Exalted Hero in there. I think it's a mean list. I really like it.
It's interesting. I've not seen a Hellstrider star before. That kind of extra abilities they get hasn't really tended to come up much when you just use a 5-man chaff unit. Occasionally they get something, but yeah, it is quite context specific. Double Hell Cannon is of course really strong. I guess it would be he hasn't gone for a big. Is the level 4 wizard on Zeech?
No, level 4 is on Slanesh.
Oh, okay, but you are going to still have the what's it called, the Phantasmagoria, which drops the leadership for the Hell Cannons.
And yeah. And I think there's one which is take an extra D6. Is that what you're just referring to? Take an extra D6 with your leadership checks.
Yeah. That one precisely. The reverse cold-blooded. Level 1 on Zinch there. I mean, obviously, if you get treason on that, then all so much the better.
I think he's just holding it a spell scroll. I would have probably gone metal, ironically, on that character as well, because that gets you a little bit more versatility. But Dom's a fantastic character who picked it for a reason.
Okay, another Warriors list here at -2. Another large Demon Prince of Nurgle. Similar there.
Maybe exactly the same build?
Not exactly the same. I believe Harry's one is 10 points more. But it's still functionally very similar. And Festus here, with presumably there will be a Chaos Warrior block here, which doesn't appear to have the mark of Nurgle, kind of curious. It seems to be an unmarked Warrior block.
It is.
Which is interesting. I mean, Festus can go there.
Yeah.
He can. Yeah. I mean, 2 Chimeras, both with Flaming and Regen.
That's a great build.
Yeah, I mean, you take...
confused by the 6 Chaos Knights. That's 315 points I think could be better spent.
Indeed.
Because do the 6 Marker Corn Chaos Knights deliver more than the Skull Crushers?
No,
Probably
never.
not.
They're a plus
Never.
one,
That's
though,
why they're not.
on the.
That's why you don't see them. Yeah.
Oh, behave. Take the -1. Take
I
another
know,
unit.
but I mean, Chaos Knights are so. I mean, they're such a classic unit. It's just
Yeah.
such a shame they're not.
There is a
being-
soft point for them now. There didn't used to be. That's
Yeah.
come back in.
Oh,
I mean, the
and I've
two
not
kind.
not bolded the Skull Crushers. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I
The
think for the
two.
Chaos Knights, if you're going to put the Mark of Corn on them anyway, I mean, you may as well just make them Skull Crushers, right?
Yeah.
The other build I like with them is you can take the character, not at your event, but traditionally at other events, you can take the character from the Tuckmoran book who makes them Rot Knights and then gets them an extra wound each and stuff like that. That's a really nice way to build
Yeah.
Chaos Knights. But I think that vanilla Chaos Knights, I think, would just struggle.
They are not. They are not. They are not all that. Paul Hensger, also here from Germany, another Demon Prince. Now all the rage, but this is a Slanesh one, which is my preferred build.
I think so. I think
although noticeably more vulnerable than the Nurgle one. But
I think well, I mean, we're talking about the -1 outside in combat. I think is good survivability, but the spells and fly, I think that does what the Keeper of Secrets does, but better because it got the fly mobility. He can jump behind a hill, jump behind a building, and he can bomb that choir without needing line of sight. He can really start harassing war machines and run at people, which is really nice.
Better
another double Chimera, which is interesting because double Chimera is hurt quite a lot by the comp because you're not taking any comp for one Chimera, but -2 for 2 of them. And two Skull Crushers I really like. Yeah.
The Chimera got the opposite problem to when we talked about Harry's Demon Prince. I can think of so many flaming artillery pieces. So Chimeras do feel quite vulnerable in this comp pack, especially. When you think about the amount of light councils we've seen at the top with Tetlus as well, they feel like this is not the meta for them. But they're flying, which is nice. They've got the breath weapon, so you're laying down that strength 4 template on people. I do think they are really nice. I think they're just difficult chess pieces to play with. To get results, you have to play with them very well and position them accordingly.
Yes, they're also expensive as well. I mean, the thing is, though, if you have 2 of them and a Demon Prince, I mean, you've got 3 flying things that have all got breath weapons there, and they all come together. Then that starts getting pretty exciting. Although there's a lot of points there for not very many wounds. And also with 2, I think the thing is that's a real bash list, right? I mean, you've got 2 units of 3 Skull Crushers, the Demon Prince, and 2 Chimeras. They're all going to be kind of running at you.
Yeah, the chaff's not scoring as well, is it? The Marauder Horsemen and the Hellstriders and the Warhounds. Loads of chaff.
Yeah, what scores here?
Don't worry about
much. The Marauders, is that all? Oh, and the 2 Skull Crushers both score.
Actually, no, because so these got light armor. That means they score, right?
Yeah, they'll score. Yeah, that's correct.
They will score.
Yeah. Although those are very expensive units without the maneuverability of fast cavalry. I mean, it's mainly a function of the fact that warriors slightly hurt by, I think, these scoring objectives with banners. Because you don't tend to have a lot of banners with warriors. The only really good unit that does tend to have a banner anyway with warriors is the Skull Crushers. James writes in here, oh, well, the Demon Prince did just get more expensive. We've got an even more expensive one. How has he made this less expensive?
The last one didn't have a breath weapon on. This one does. I think there's some slight changes, but this is the Slanesh one. I think is favored. Although Death is so they're either one of the 2. They're both head and shoulders above all the other choices, aren't they? For a Nurgle Death one or a Slanesh build, I think.
Yeah. This one is more analogous to some of the Chaos lists I've played, where I've had Throg and Skylar. Obviously, Skylar with no BSB seems to be definitely have some utility in this comp pack. 9 trolls, presumably these are Throg's trolls. Little unit of 10 warriors there with Corn and Halberds. I've played that before. It's okay. It's quite expensive though.
I was pleased I got to play him at Thundercocks actually, because it's rare I get to play James. He absolutely trounced me. I feel like I helped him with his score that weekend.
Well, indeed.
Well, he's on
I think it's a good. I think this list is good. I mean, it's a creature of comp. I mean, the fact is, it's +2, and you've got a Demon Prince and Throg in there, and a bunch of other stuff that kills things. It's not so good at scoring.
He's got the Knights again as well.
Yeah,
He put for Highlander, so I think they were out of necessity of points to fill to get Highlander in there for the +1. So I think they'd much rather be Skull Crushers, then you lose the Highlander, don't you?
the temptation of the +2 for no BSB. That's why Skylar on his own is so tempting. It's risky though, but it's still very strong.
Mm-hmm. I assume the Chimera's got the tools on it as well, the upgrades. They're not listed there, but the points
sure
seem
it
to
does.
imply that it's got the tools.
Yeah,
It does have
both.
them. Yes, 275 is what.
Yeah, that's the only
costs.
way the Skull. I mean, they should just have it as base 275 because nobody ever runs it any other way.
Yeah, no one's taking poison, are they?
Yeah.
No, the Chimera can do poison. Is this the monocorn? No. It's
So this is the
monocorn.
hero list out of the warriors because he's got a Chaos Lord.
Oh man.
Yeah, who is not on a disc with throughout the Rolling One and the Crown of Command.
No.
He's just, what is he? He's on foot.
Mark of Undivided.
Okay. I love it. With the Helm of Many Eyes.
Yeah.
A Lord and a Sorcerer Lord together. Not often seen.
Level 4 on metal.
Because they can be combined into a Demon Prince, which is better and costs less points.
Josh's theme for this is undivided. So no god is my god. So everything is unmarked where possible. No Skull Crushers, no Wraithmongers, nothing that can be marked.
2 units of Chaos Warriors, the optimal choice.
Oh, this is good. The Chaos Chariot without Mark of Slanesh for 5 points.
This is another very honest game of Warhammer.
It's the hero
honest list.
16 and 17 Chaos Warriors that are unmarked. I like that. Because there are some arguments sometimes for some unmarked pieces. Like, I don't mind the War Shrine unmarked, for example. I think it's still all right for what it does. But the Chaos Warriors, you got to put a mark on them to be competitive because they're not really great.
Bizarrely, I think he hasn't hit the point for mono mark. Even though everything is unmarked, I think he also there's no comp offering.
Surely they should be
entirely unmarked.
Well, I think we've missed a trick on that one.
Yeah, there should be a bonus
plus
for being
4 or
unmarked.
something. It should be a really big benefit because you give up so much about their identity.
Yeah,
it feels bad that if he didn't mark this all Slanesh, he'd have got a lower comp score than unmarking it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a bit of an oversight, isn't it? Yeah.
It is an oversight.
This one's interesting.
Oh, I love it.
So this is no Wizards and Kolek Sun Eater, right?
Overrated. Wizards are overrated.
Well, I don't think the games that this list plays are going to be very long. I think it has a bunch of monsters at the end as well.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Okay, fine. So what have we got? Shaggoth, Giant, 2 Chimeras, and you has a Hell Cannon as well, although I almost wonder whether that should just be another monster.
It is a monster.
Well, a fast monster and everything.
Kolek is a machine.
Kolak. I had to look him up.
The model that Owen has for him is also massive. He's the size of a cat. It's a really imposing model to go against.
Has he taken the what was that new one which they released? Was it for was it the Old World or AOS? Which was this?
Oh, maybe
massive...
this is a juggernaut of a monster. It's incredible, and he reminded me twice at Cardiff when he ran this list that my Warp Lightning Cannon triggers his Lightning Hatred ability, and I was like, "How many things have lightning in them in the world?" And that Skaven have one of the 3 things that trigger his super lightning hatred.
So there's 2 models which I would probably use for him if I had it. One is the AOS one, which I can't remember what it was called, but Merce Miniatures do an outstanding one as well, which is just giant like ogre with a double-handed weapon, which just basically they've ripped off out of the Chaos book. It looks awesome.
So Kolek has got 7 attacks, strength 8, and a D3 wound hammer.
Weapon skill 8 as well.
8 wounds, toughness 6. And what is his armor save? 2 up or 3 up?
I think it's 2 up.
Because he combines heavy armor with it. The problem is with him is that he means you don't have a level 4 and he has initiative 1. So, I mean,
He'll also just eat cannibals all day. You play this into like Daly's matchup, and that's a really sad time for Kolek with
yeah. Poor old Kolek. He does have this. I've always looked at him and thought, with certain comps, he might be viable. He's also got this. If he rolls a 2-up, he does this sort of auto lightning attack, and so that's got theory could be used to destroy chaff.
Yeah.
But how does he? He doesn't look like he's got much core here, though. Does Chaos Chariot go in core or something?
I'm afraid it does. Yes, it is a core piece.
I'm afraid it.
There's absolutely a viable Chaos build with 5 core chariots.
Yeah,
absolutely. There was a comp on chariots for a reason. This is, I mean, it doesn't do a lot of scoring. It's got a high. What's his plot? What's his comp? 8.
Plus 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I think it's just got a high comp. It's going to run at people. It's got lots of threats. I actually think it's quite good.
Yeah, I think it's quite good as well.
I think Owen's approach is it doesn't matter if I can't score, you can't score if you're dead. And I think he's just like, if I burn the banners, you're not getting the objective either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's also just about how things scale. I mean, very rarely do you get that many sort of monster threat things. And it's very different if you've got 3, 4, 5, or 6. Suddenly it starts changing the game.
So we got Spellweaver with the Book of Asher.
It's fantastic. I mean, if he's in a wood or she's in a wood, it's +6 to your cast, which is brilliant. You get +1 on your dispel as well from the book. So
Laura Shadow is such a great choice of wood elves.
Yeah, it's good.
True Flight, Hagbane.
Yeah. Although I suppose with Shadow there might be an argument for them all being True Flight rather than Hagbane, because that's where the comparative advantage of the Withering would really come in.
Is it comp reasons, perchance? I haven't read the comps, so I wouldn't know.
True Flight, Hagbane all get lumped into the same thing. So
do they?
On our comp, so it doesn't matter.
Well, I'll tell you what, if we look at Owen Williams' list, there's actually the Hagbanes become quite viable there, don't they? With all the poison against the monsters.
It's the way I like to run. I like Terra's list a lot because his archers are how I like to run them on Wood Elves when I run it.
3 units of Wild Riders, sir.
Yeah, that's nice. It's interesting. I think he needs maybe another Eagle though to try and control those Wild Riders potentially.
Well, he's got 3 units of Glade Riders.
Yeah, exactly. You want an Eagle in front of them just to prevent them going crazy.
Nice list, yeah.
Solid list.
But check out this one.
Yeah.
So okay,
this is
Jaden,
the Nicky inspired one, isn't it?
Jaden has quite an interesting kind of backstory for various reasons. Is here from I believe California, and was something of a last minute entry, and was prepared to be rather pragmatic on what army he used. And I think this is going to be some kind of multicultural combination of about 3 different Wood Elf armies. Although there are 6, are there 6 branch rates?
Yeah.
Okay. What is the logic of having 6 branch rates?
I mean, is it a bit like a character wall for his dryads?
Maybe.
Because he's got 24 dryads, so
he's got the hounds with Orion as well.
Yeah.
The hounds, which make Orion much worse.
You paid extra for him as well, which is the wild one.
Surely do the hounds give extra comp for Orion?
No.
They probably should do.
Yeah. +2 for Orion, yeah.
Because the comp means he has to kind of like wheel with the dogs, right? It's really, really bad.
Originally wanted to have 8 Warhawk Riders in this list, but we didn't have enough Warhawk Riders to give him. So we had
crowdsource them.
Yeah, we can crowdsource them, and they're fucking shit. So
try and look at a branch race. A branch race are all level 1 life as well.
Yeah.
So that is a lot of toughness 4, 2 wound, weapon skill 6, 3 attack monsters that all know Law of Light as well. Law of Life, sorry.
Yeah. But life isn't a great one to have a level 1 wizard on, though, right? Because you're not going to be spamming Earth Blood.
Right.
Maybe you are with 6 branch rays. I think
maybe.
So what troop type are branch wraiths?
Infantry.
Right?
They're just,
okay, so they go with the dryads then, do they?
For the dryads.
Yeah. It just means you've got to kill a lot of branch rays before you get to the meat of the
right.
dryads.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Well, that's a crazy
they
list.
probably have hatred as well if they're like
Branch star.
dryads.
Yes, exactly.
Um,
Branch star.
and the lore of beasts isn't bad for the level 2
Yeah,
because then
yeah.
you can get
Because if you get a savage beast off on those branch
oh
rates,
yeah
that's a horrible unit to fight.
yeah oh
Oh, that's true. Does he?
even
Does he?
Wissons, you know.
What access does he have to Lore of Beasts? Just one level
One
two.
level
Yeah.
two, just one level two.
Yeah, I mean the bubbled up Savage Beast would be amazing. But
If you melt Orion down into a level 4 beast, this becomes a really cool list. I'm not saying Orion's not cool, but he's not level 4 beast cool.
it's the
Two
hounds that
treemen
I
as well.
can't get over with Orion. That's just the awesome bit.
So is Orion a wizard? Yeah.
No,
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 God, no.
he's your like massive glass hammer. He hits like a fucking ton of bricks, but he's not particularly. His toughness 5, 5 wounds, 5 up ward, and that's about it.
he's
He's
not very
also
good.
got like a bolt thrower spear and a machine gun bow. So he's kind of a bit of jack of all trades.
How can he be 600 points then? He's more expensive than a
Oh,
bloodthirster.
He's
he's
not.
so
He should not
massively
be.
overcosted.
Yeah,
He's but he's very fun.
yeah, yeah.
I mean,
He's your
he'll
King
blend
Leonker
anything he
equivalent.
touches.
I
Well, all
don't
He
right.
has
know.
no
I
armor
think
He'll
save,
blend
I
a
think if
right?
you
lot of the individual models you might touch, but not against the
I think
unit.
if you look at any of our demon princes who are in the field, they're not. I don't think
Yeah,
Orion's
yeah.
winning that fight. I'd pick Carl Franz against him as well, honestly, from Daly's list. I think he's got some weak fights to get into.
Right, now onto the swing armies.
Yeah. So this is my minor bus. I've never run a minor tour list from Beastman, so I thought, well, why the fuck not? So it's fairly standard. It's got 3 significant characters which all go in the front of my Minotaur unit. The Minotaurs have all got great weapons, so they hit like a ton of bricks from behind the character wall. The characters are just, they've either got 3 up ward saves or 1 up rerollable with the 2 up versus fire. So they're because they're all Mark of Tzeentch, they're got little items to try and save them from any war machines as well. So they get that +1 on like the Iron Curse.
Is a
Um,
Gorbel a hero level Minotaur?
yes. Yeah.
I
So
think I don't think I've ever seen that word written down before, so I don't. I think
yeah,
this
yeah.
might be the first Gorbel I've ever seen on
He's
the
got the
table.
brass cleaver, so he gets +1 attack for anything in base-to-base contact. So he'll be pumping
Nice.
out some attack. So if it touches anything, it should blend it. The problem is it's frenzied. It'll get led around by the nose. But we don't worry about that. It's funsies, isn't it?
No pun intended.
No, yeah, and and then obviously my what has come from Thundercock's standard unit of 58 gore, because
Eesh.
got to have a lot, and then some
58.
chaff, pretty
This
much.
feels like the opposite problem to what we talked about when making a unit unkillable. This feels like a bluff. It feels like you've just put 58 bolts on the board and gone, well, I wouldn't fight that.
But I
And I
mean,
go, these are just gore, aren't they?
yeah.
Yeah,
The
they are.
Minotaurs are so overcosted. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Isn't this, in a sense, kind of
Oh my
points
God.
denial, right? Because if you don't kill the Gore and you don't kill the Minobus, there's not a
You're
lot
not going to
of
get
points
anything.
that are there.
No.
What is blackened plate armor?
So that
Chaos
gives
armor.
no, it's heavy armor, of course, not plate. And it gives the champion who's wearing it a 2 up versus flaming, and it gives the unit a 4 up versus flaming, and because of Mark of Tzeentch, it'll become a 3 up.
Nice. So you're relishing the magma cannons. Bring them on.
Yeah. That's it. If I'm against flaming, I'll be all right.
I've seen that a character with the black and plate, be a refugee in a sort of a troll horde in a sort of legions
Yeah.
list, which of course means that the whole thing has regen and then it has the black and plate as well against
The end
certain
times.
persons.
Oh,
Indeed,
nice.
exactly. Just
Right, guys. So look, this is all corn. None of these multicolored demons lists.
Sell out.
You're a purist.
It's all red, black, and brass. Bloodthirster, greater, lesser, big
Best build.
big horde of bloodletters, 2 units of blood crushers, 2 units of furies, 2 units of flesh hounds, 2 skull cannon. Done.
You earned those skull crushers, didn't you? You
Yeah,
paid for them, didn't you, by taking the mono list? I can't believe it's still -2 even in a mono list. What are you playing at?
yeah. No, no. It's so the list is +4, but yeah,
So
the
skull
skull cannon,
cannons are
yeah, is
minus
plus
two.
two. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, you lose. You lose. It's -3 if it's not a corn list.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Do you have any
It,
heroes in the bloodletters? I don't know if you scroll
There's
past them or
no
not.
heroes in the list at all. No,
I
I
know.
don't. I don't
There's
like the
no
heralds.
heroes
I
on
don't.
his
I don't think
list.
they're worth the points.
Couldn't tell you what the loci do for Corn. I imagine one might be an armor save and Madres, but
No,
they don't feel
one's frenzy,
impactful.
one's hatred, and I can't remember what the other one is.
I was going to
But
say you're not adverse to taking two heralds, though. I've seen them both in your blood crushers when I've
no, I've
played you.
never actually run it. I mean, I've got the models, yeah.
Oh,
And I've even got the model for the herald on the skull throne, even though I've never actually used it. But I've got it all painted, like ready to go. It's not that bad in Old World, actually. I might use it one day. Um,
it would be fair to say, though, Simon, that despite Monocorn Eighth Army not having the best reputation, you have had some success with it
oh,
in that it
I think it
has
works. I
won quite a
mean,
lot of games. Yeah.
obviously, the big weakness is that obviously no magic, you can't dispel anything, right? But the whole list has magic resistance, and so you don't have to dispel every spell. Some of it you can just let go. Against things like test or die spells, the bloodletters, they've got initiative 4, they've got strength 4, so they don't all die when they get hit by thrown by dwellers or whatever. Um, you know, and between the bloodthirsters, the 2 units of crushers, and the bloodletters, those first 4 units, that's 4 big attacking threats, which you got to deal with it, right?
I was quite surprised how expensive the bloodletters were for 40 of them.
Yeah, yeah, bloodletters are a bit overcosted. You know what I
You've
would
also
love
got
to
Rainer.
do? I
Go
would
on.
love to have a way, because you know how in the Demons book, Nurgle, Tzeentch, and Slanesh can raise from the dead in a way when they cast spells. Whereas because Khorne doesn't cast spells, there's no way of bringing bloodletters back unless you roll a double six on the Winds of Magic.
Mm.
And I'd like to have a way of getting extra bloodletters to your unit, because the other gods can do it. But
You're talking about the lore attribute from the spells, right?
exactly, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. I think there is something that can be said there. Flesh hounds are really really cool. I think they're an unsung hero of a lot of corn units. I think they do quite a lot, and they add a lot to the list as well. And one greater, one lesser, I think is fantastic. As opposed to not having magic, I think the Reign of Chaos is still a pseudo magic phase, and you don't have a
True.
level 4, but it means you can stop 1 or 2 spells if you're lucky in a phase. You know what I mean? If someone's rolling a 5-2 phase or a 3-4 phase, you've still got some skin in the game to stop a spell. It just means you're probably letting one through a turn always. But I think it's
Yeah.
fine. It's a great list.
You also don't have to worry about the remains in play because you can just chuck the dice on your turn.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's very having no wizards in eight there is a lot more viable than it is in old world, because in old world you can only have you've got one fated dispel per turn that you can't add your wizard level to, and then everything else goes through. So you
Mm.
can usually stop a spell with your dice in eighth edition if there's one spell you really, really don't want.
Mm. Well, think
And
about it.
it'll
If someone's getting a 6-1 phase against you, you almost dice them. So you can buy even 2 of their spells off them in that phase. I mean, you're either forcing them to 5 dice a spell to get it through, or you're stopping the little annoying spells. Like, that's the big one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is my Bretonian list. So really, I've played a lot with Bretonians, and I've kind of vacillated between MSU lists and big wedge lists. MSU, one of the problems I have with them is that if you're playing MSU and playing with the Green Knight, there's a lot to handle there in the time available. I've tended to find nowadays that I've got one big unit of Knights Errant here, 15-man unit, and that with a lord that has the virtue of heroism and also crown of command access in there is kind of, in a sense, I feel has been the most successful way of playing Bretonians. The lord makes way. He's got he can once something gets into the knight unit, he's got virtue of heroism. He's got the tress of Isolde, which means he hits on a 2-up. He rerolls his wounds. He will kill pretty much anything, actually. Usually. He's one of the best, I would argue, one of the combat lords in the game, actually, for one against one-on-one challenges because of that combination of items. I don't know what it is. The old world guy who's got virtue of heroism just kills everything with sixes, but this one in eighth edition never. It's just terrible. I don't know why.
So why do you prefer because I noticed you're all errants rather than Knights of the Realm. What's your preference for errants over
Think,
Knights?
well, the
I
errant
mean,
is
obviously
4
they're
points
cheaper.
less.
Yeah.
It's 4 points less. Obviously, the fact that we've got dev charge in these comp packs, I just think comparatively speaking, the extra knights that you get for that is worth it.
It's
I
worth
think
it
if you
over
have,
the weapon skill.
yeah, I think that's probably right. And also, there are some little niche things like immune to psychology on the charge for the Knight's Errant. It means that you don't get panicked by stand and shoot, for example. You can just go through dangerous terrain. You don't care about that. I mean, the Impetuous, I think if you have leadership 9 with a reroll, I think I'm happy with it. I used to often run just a wizard as my general with leadership 8 with the reroll. Then Impetuous was a real problem because you would have the 5-man Knights Errant unit. Sometimes they would have to charge. The enemy would beat them, and then they could, or maybe it will pursue you and then get a free reform, then charge you. So it got you into trouble. But there's still quite a few. There are 2 Pegasus Knight heroes and the Pegasus Knight unit in here as well.
I think the Errant is a superior choice because the wounds that people are going to get through on the Knights of the Realm, they're going to get through on the Errants anyway. So you gain nothing in survivability against those units. But the point you can save to put extra knights on the field is massive. It's exactly the same logic behind why you don't ever buy shields for Skaven slaves, because the points, I can just buy more slaves. So it doesn't matter about their survivability. I can just put more bodies on the table.
Yeah.
So for you to say, yeah, the Knights of the Realm, they're a bit more, they're the same survivability, but they're, a little bit more higher weapon skill or whatever the niches are. Actually, for you to sack that off and just get more bodies is more impact into the game.
No, I quite agree. I mean, there is if you're fighting ogres or something where there's a lot of weapon skill 3, you might miss the Knights of the Realm. But apart from that, I don't think so. Provided you're able to control the Impetuous. And I think when you have leadership 9, I think that's okay.
I wonder if that's an issue with 8th, actually, to do with weapon skill differentials and the fact that, you're always basically going to hit on the 4, no matter what the weapon skill, if I don't.
Yeah. When you're charging,
rather than a 5 if you've got a higher weapon skill, for your opponent.
Absolutely, you accept that you're pretty much hitting on 4s, and of course, as I say, because you're striking with the lance with all those extra attacks, because you're trying to break steadfast. Just the logic of more bodies is just so kind of irresistible. About for every you're getting another errant. For every 5 Knights of the Realm you drop. Apart from that, the list has got, it's quite a tough Bretonian list, actually. It's not trying to go for a big comp. There's a single reliquary in there. And there are 2 trebs and really just a bunch of knights.
Do Knights Errant have the same initiative as Knights of the Realm?
Yes.
Okay.
It's basically just the weapon skills.
Just the weapon skill, yeah.
Also, a lot of the time you're trying to get like harmonic convergence, and then you're being able to reroll 1s anyway. So I just think the Knight Errant I actually think a Bretonian army that literally only has Knights Errant in it, doesn't bother with almost anything else apart from characters and trebuchets, is actually quite good.
And the 3 Grail Knights?
Well, you have to have them to have the reliquary. That's kind of why they're there. But they're all right. I mean, then it's 9 strength 6 attacks on the charge. They are a little bit vulnerable. I don't think they're an optimal choice, but if you want to have the reliquary, and because I've got a wizard on foot, that I'm kind of having to have that, then you end up sort of being forced into taking that.
Who's got
I think for 114 points, they're fine. I think for 114 points, they're really, really good for what they do.
Yeah,
I think the problem is when you start running 6, 8, and put characters in there, they become a black hole for points. I think you're running them in the right way, which is a very small unit, which is tough to ignore because of the damage it does on the charge and annoying to have to put resource into.
Yes, and is not completely unviable, to sort of go as chaff. But I think the one last experiment I would almost like to do with Bretonians would be to just run an army of Knight Errant and just have nothing else, actually, weirdly.
Crusader list.
Well, yes, I suppose so, in a manner of speaking.
Wait till you see how Daly's painted his Empire list. It's all white and St. George Cross. That is the Crusade. Makes me feel proud to be British when I look at it.
Well, also there's these very clever lists that enable you to say, well, the Bretonians can be Empire and kind of vice versa. This is the gamers kind of choice. But I have always enjoyed playing with Bretonians a bit more than with Warriors of Chaos, I must admit, which is why I sort of probably tend to use them. I don't think that they're better vis-a-vis the comp, although I do think they are good at scoring.
Should I be
But
worried?
I just think that they're very. I don't think people underestimate Bretonians anymore. I think they did a few years ago.
Was Daly out also painting the roundabouts like that?
Yeah, he was absolutely there. Yeah, we round them up.
Shimming it up like, the lights outside the houses, putting his flags up.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Do you
marvelous tradition.
do you guys have a favorite list from this, or a shout out that you think is your favorite from this list of 33, 34 lists?
I think there are some interesting ones. Oh, well, I think the best one, obviously, is Christopher Salisbury's list with the Naked Prince. I mean, that the Naked Prince, which is what it should be, like almost like a kind of a brand of sausages or something. The Naked Prince.
General hyphen Prince end of Fieldsborough statement.
Yeah, exactly. He was bathing somewhere in Northern, and decided. I think that there are some. I think the Dom list is interesting for Warriors of Chaos. I think that's got some. I think Owen's list is interesting. Just from some
list, very nice.
I like Dale's list as well, just for being a bit different. But yeah, Dom's probably is the one I like the most.
I want that Slash unit to do really, really well. I really want it to impress everyone to the point where that unit gets comped to oblivion for no reason at all.
Yeah, I like. To be fair, I like Adam's list as well. Apart from the last kind of 5 items,
3 lines.
on it. Yeah. But having a full Cav list, brilliant. Spoiled by the cannons.
I'm pretty sure at Cardiff there was a penalty where if you took all knights, that was a minus comp. So he had 10 archers stand somewhere with a level 1 mage with a dispel scroll. So for 200 points, bought the comp setting and had a level 1 fire who 6 dice fireball every turn.
And don't forget Greg Thompson's cool Dark Elf list with the Manticore.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That's another good list.
Needed to be a Beastmaster on it, really.
Yeah.
Just for vibes.
All right, guys, you ready for the drum roll?
I think so.
Can you see that?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So, Colic Sun Eater against the plus 10 ogres.
On table 1.
Kolak should be awesome against the ogres, right?
Is that no magic versus no magic?
Yes. Yeah. So
I think it's good for the Warriors of Chaos. I think. Well, having said that, though, no thunderstomps on any of the monsters. Kolak's good.
Yeah, true.
Kolak's good.
I can't remember Kai's list. Did he have cannons?
One maybe.
No, I think he had the Thunder Tusk for the Stonehorn thrower, and he was the Gorges that got us distracted talking about Scrag the Slaughterer.
Yeah. Yep, no cannons. Got Thunder Tusk and a
That's
giant.
A very non-standard game because there's really both armies are very strange. As I think Kolek is good, but Owen is not going to be using his thunderstomps at all, and he's got 5 monsters.
I think someone's going to come out of this game 20-0 and have a really tough game too.
I agree that is likely to be a fast game and is likely to be decisive.
And there's a Hell Cannon there as well, isn't there? Yes. So Jaden's Wood Elves against Dale's Lizardmen, the funky Wood Elf list.
What is in Dale's Lizardmen?
Got the Carnosaur, isn't he?
Carnosaur, Steg,
couple of Razordons.
Yeah.
Teto.
Yeah.
A big unit of 30 warriors, 29 skink cohorts, Temple Guard.
Versus Orion, his dogs, and the Branch Star.
2 Stegodons. There's got an ancient and a normal.
I actually think the Jaden list may be the best one. Maybe also be rival Christopher's one, actually. And the Branch Star and the dogs with Orion, is even better, arguably, than the Naked Prince.
Yeah.
In terms of just optimized, come out on top in this game.
Yes, I think Dale is the favourite there.
Yeah.
Max's Tomb Kings versus the Fluffy High Elves.
Oh no! Khalida's 56 bows versus the Naked Prince.
Yeah, I think the Tomb Kings are gonna take that one. Just because they'll delete a unit a turn.
Well, unfortunately, this Christopher's list doesn't have the thing that can just be rammed into Khalida's archers, which is the obvious vulnerability of this. It's just not really there. So I think this is very favourable for the Tomb Kings.
Yeah.
Yes, I think the Moondragon has to spend all game behind a hill, and the minute it comes out, it becomes a pincushion.
I think the whole army might have to go behind the hill, to be honest. Okay, then we've got Greg's Dark Elves. I can't remember what that was, and Mamboy's Bretonians.
The very fluffy.
Greg's the master on a cold one.
Oh yes,
a couple of cold one nights. It's
Yeah.
a very honest list. And Mamboy is a good player, and I think his Brett list is not the best, but I think it's a good Brett list.
it's not bad for +4. I agree.
No, I think the Dark Elves don't see a lot of sunlight after that game.
I tend to agree.
Yeah.
Then we've got the undivided Chaos Warriors versus the 9 Fnatic list,
That
right?
might be quite a good game. But
I think
might
it's a really
be.
interesting game.
I think the Orcs might have it.
Both
Yeah,
of
I
the
think
lists
there's a
are
lot
pretty.
of fanatics that eat through the arm
Yeah.
saves.
That's what I was thinking.
And because nothing's marked Slanesh, the wounds really matter.
Yeah, I think the Orc list is not optimal, but it's more optimal than the Warrior list, quite clearly. But the Warrior list is defiantly unoptimal. That's the thing.
I've seen Josh run some really nice lists as well. I don't know what happened with this list, whether the theme ran away with him. He's petitioned with me every time I've seen him to let Wraithmongers come to events, to let the Blight Kings come to events. He's like, they're good units, I want to take them. We let him into Thundercock, and then this is how he repays us. He runs undivided, no special characters, the most vanilla Warriors list there is.
We have said back to basics this year, right? Some people have really taken that to heart, right? Yeah, exactly.
We need to remind some of these people. We need to remind that he's allowed to take marks. We need to remind Chris he is allowed items. Like, we went back to basics, but not this far.
No items, GT, yes.
Yeah.
So I think the Orcs.
We've got the Slanesh Demon Prince against the Slanesh Keeper of Secrets.
I think James is a really good player. I think with the +2, I think that's unfair for him. I think he's more deservedly of a more minus comp than that. And I think he's got the right tools to take the map apart, unfortunately. I think Matt's list is really fun. I think the character on the chariot might get overwhelmed in this game. And I think even James's knights find meat in this game to fight, don't they? I think he's got the edge.
I entirely agree.
But there are 2 Skull Cannon though, and against Trolls and Skylar,
You park the Demon Prince in front of it and say, I've got a 2-up ward against it. And then next turn you fly in and you quiet and they can't shoot. Like, it's a tale as old as time.
It's the Dragonbane gem that's the problem there, yes. We have the swing army of an unspecified swing army.
Which will be me.
Yes.
For the first round.
Yeah.
So do you think that the demons have an advantage against your Mino bus?
I mean, to be fair, the skull cannons are going to be limited against my Mino bus. I mean, depends how badly I'm rolling or not. It's difficult to tell. I mean, I've not played a single game with the Mino bus, and obviously Michael's played a lot of games with his demons, so it could go quite happily to him. But yeah. We've not played
Reign of
before.
Chaos is mean, but I think you've got a real nice combat threat. The sooner you can get that minor bus into combat, the sooner there's going to be.
We've got the minor bus, and I've got the gore as well, so which are not to be sniffed at as well.
I forgot about the 58 gore. Yeah. I imagine I'm going to get absolutely butchered by this. Any unit of the Slanesh Demonettes. I think you're going to have a field day on your gore.
Don't you believe it? My gore have got the upper hand. You watch this space. The problem's going to be is he hasn't gone Slanesh, has he? On his level 4, he's gone Shadow.
In Shadow,
yeah.
Which I think is in this matchup quite good for him, because if he starts putting minus initiative, minus weapon skill, minus toughness on the Mino bus, it becomes less exciting to swing around.
Yeah,
when it's
that's
got
true.
all its stats debuffed.
Yeah, and of course, if he puts a pit of shades in the middle of that goal, it doesn't matter how far it scatters; it's hitting something.
Yeah,
All the
yeah, yeah.
Minotaurs, I'm realizing now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But does he have? He doesn't have a great deal of. Does he have chaff? Does he have Hellstriders? I mean, or
Yeah, I think he had one. I think he had one
demonettes,
unit of them.
mounted demonettes.
Seekers of Slash. I think he had one or two
Because
units.
otherwise, the Minobus, the demons can't flee, and the Minobus can just be rammed at them.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to have quite a lot of chaff as well. So
I think the
be
Mino.
interesting.
I think just ram the
I'm going to enjoy.
Minobus forwards. I mean, is it?
I mean, all of my. I mean, you know my tactics with Beastmen. Everything's going to be rammed forward
Well,
with some
good.
chaff in
There you
front of
go.
it. So
There you go.
you know,
What game's a
we'll
good
have to
game?
see. It'll be fun.
The
Baker against Nicky Hewitson.
Okay, well, the Nicky's got the Terror Bomb kind of list. I mean, the Bretonians have got leadership 9. So, but there's not immunity to psychology there. So, theoretically, the Bretonians won't be suffering thunderstomps, of course. Bretonians are obviously a good anti-monster army. And Nicky does have quite a lot of monsters. Also, I think that the Dark Elves haven't necessarily got a lot of utility against armor. I mean, Nicky obviously a very good player, but I think Bretonians are good against Dark Elves and High Elves for that matter. I've always felt
George's Grail Knights have also got the Banner of Shalom, so there's no standing shoot against them.
Yeah.
I think the Bleak Swords were standing shooting anyway.
I think
no,
it's
but she's
George.
got the Dark Shards and stuff. I think.
Yeah, although the thing is, they do have kind of armor piercing though, so that starts to become unpleasant.
For AP is very annoying for Brett's, isn't it? That's
when you're suddenly saving 3 up, 6 up, it's not so fun. Yeah, but I think that the matchup is all right for George there, actually.
Yeah, I think Nicky's a very good player, but I think
though.
I think I'm giving the edge to George in this one. But I'd love to see a Crib just rip some knights up. Something like if it hits with all its attacks, it gets extra attacks. It's strength 7,
extra D6,
more ripping. Like that sounds wild to see against knights.
Yes.
Yeah, that'll be another. There's going to be some good games, I think.
Table 9, Brian against Nav.
Tough day for me, Brian. Tough day to be Beastman.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of the amount of poison in the Lizard Man list. No versus no armor. The Razodons might be all right against the Beastmen there as well.
Very good in this. Very good in this. I think, Mark, you might maintain best in race at least after round 1. I think Nav's going to put some unfortunate boots to Brian.
Nav is a good player as well. We know that.
Very good player.
I think Brian last played he was saying he hasn't played for ages as well, maybe since the last London Legends. So he's gonna.
Then we've got Paul's Warriors of Chaos, which I can't remember what was in that, but I thought it was quite
double Skull Crusher, double Chimera.
Right.
Slanesh Demon Prince.
Yeah. I think it's favorable for the Warriors of Chaos. I don't think that there are a lot of breath weapons as well in that list, which is very good against High Elves.
John had a very cookie cutter high elf list, though, wasn't it?
It is, but I think a cookie cutter Warriors of Chaos list is quite good against a cookie cutter high elf list. In my view.
Dual sword weapons, though, the magic attacks going into the.
That's true.
That's true. Sword weapons is annoying. I think the breath weapons, just being able to lay down templates on that White Lion unit or the Phoenix unit, whichever one it is, it's just devastating. Considering he's got 3 of them as well. He's got double Chimera and the Demon Prince, all with a strength 4 flaming. Like you lay all those down, that's a lot of wounds.
Yes, which you will need against lions because they've got a 3-up save versus shooting. But with that volume of breath weapons, yes.
We've got the 22 Phoenix Guard, which probably isn't quite enough.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, 1 breath weapon on them, he's probably going to lose 6 or something from that. And then they're starting to lose attacks.
It does mean the Khorne Marauder have meta match because they don't really have a great fight to get into. Because the first fight they get into, they're getting ASF'd off the board.
Yes, they are an absolute liability against High Elves, absolutely. And they'll get shot as well. Have to hide that unit most likely.
And you've got 2 of them.
All right, okay.
So they'll struggle to go War Machine hunting as well because The hive opponent can back it quite nicely.
Yeah, John's got 2 Eagle Claws, 15 Reavers,
Yeah.
a shed load of archers,
Does
and
Paul
2
have a
units.
Slaanesh wizard?
Oh yeah, Paul had the Slanesh Demon Prince. Yeah.
Okay, well that's obviously very good against elves because
I don't know if
acquiescence
you're
will
running
take
the
all the
Demon
strikes
Prince
first.
close enough to get the bolt throwers with the quiet. He's in a really dangerous spot for everything else that's in the list.
I more mean acquiescence is the other one.
Oh,
Acquiescence
yes.
has got 48 inches, and yeah. Oh yeah, the Demon Prince is vulnerable to bolt throwers. Absolutely, it's probably one of his least favorite things.
So table 11, Terror's very shooty wood elves against Torsten's warriors. I can't remember Torsten's list actually.
Vesta, Demon Prince,
The other war in the
Demon and
Chaos list
Nurgler.
right before Paul's.
Right.
Um,
So 2 chimeras again, yeah.
3 units of 5
Even with a single
Warhounds they've
Chimera.
gone. Single Chimera, 6 Knights, 5 Marauder Horse, and 3 Skull Crushers. I mean, Terra's just going to take all of the chaff off the board, like in his first turn, sort of thing.
Yeah,
I think it's reasonably good for Terror. That I mean, the Wild Riders are good against Warriors of Chaos.
I think Terra's got this one.
Don't drop, and you can charge.
I could be wrong, but I think Terra's got the edge on this.
I think that the advantage is there. Absolutely, I think it's 3 units of Wild Riders is good against the Warriors of Chaos. To be honest,
Yeah.
you need to shoot Wild Riders off, and Warriors of Chaos can't really do that. So, Daniel versus Dom. Daniel's got the sort of a bunch of war machines, right, but small unit of hammerers.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's got loads of thunderers,
strength 5 shooting. So
lots
he's got
2 organ guns, 2 cannon, yeah.
2 organ guns, 16 iron drakes.
it must be bizarre for a Chaos Dwarf player to play against Hellcats.
Yeah,
That must feel quite turncoaty of them, mustn't it?
Hell cannons are quite good at not being cannoned off, though, because of course they've got a 5-up ward save, and they've got the monster and the handler thing, which is a sort of another sort of ward save.
Yeah,
I think if Dom can get his unit into some of the smaller units quite quickly, and he rushes this list quite aggressively, I think Dom should come out on top. Dom's also a veteran player as well. He's got a lot of skill behind him, so I think even on paper unfavorable matchups, he deserves a bit of credit in how well the game's going to go in his favor.
Yeah,
I agree. There's a lot of but a lot of the dwarf shooting is quite short range. It's like 24
You have to be careful with the Hellstrider unit because that is vulnerable to small arms fire. I don't think the Hellstrider unit's that good against these dwarves. But
he'll need to get a long charge. He'll need to get stuck into combat. He'll start blending through the combat, then start putting out choirs to dismantle the shooting, and then keep getting into combat over and over again. If Daniel's smart, he'll keep Dom out of combat for as long as possible.
I mean, that's the dwarf way, really.
The dwarven way, the dwarven credos. Don't ever fight.
There, you've got to favour Dom just because of the player he is.
Table 13 looks like it could be a good game.
Yeah.
Don't think I can
what's Lewis's ogres again? I can't. I mean,
he had
a fairly standard-y ogres list, wasn't it?
2 units of lead belchers as well.
Yeah.
Well, the magma cannon's rather good against ogres. He's only got 1 of them, but nonetheless.
I mean, it depends if Lewis blinds his opponent with the beautification of his army.
Maybe. Yes. There's that massive wizard, 600-point death wizard. Oh dear, there's a flying death wizard.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's not very
there
good.
It is.
Is it?
There it is. But they've got the cannons to deal with it. They've got iron blasters. They've got the lead belchers.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the Chaos Dwarf have the edge in this one.
I think it does innately.
Anytime you've got a 600-point mobile death mage against ogres, it's just light, isn't it? Hellheart, though, we're looking at a nice Hellheart into the Chaos Sorcerer, turn 1 Force Cascade. Love it.
Yes. Then we have table 14, Alex versus Etienne.
It's got to be Etienne,
down.
Surely.
Yeah. Down, surely.
Got me what? Sorry.
You going down, absolutely. What is the minus for? Is this the tactless that doesn't have battle magic?
Yeah, it's the high magic.
And the fire phoenix etc., etc.
Not very
I mean,
optimal.
the Fire Phoenix is probably against you is probably its best matchup.
It is his best matchup. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's going to lance slaves for days. All those small skirmish units, they're all going down. No, it's
Yeah.
nice. I haven't had a chance to play the team before, so I'd really like to. I saw him playing against Daly on the table next to me at Cardiff, and he was having just a terrible time. So I'd really like to play him to kind of sweeten that up. I'm not a massive fan of playing against High Elves because they've got quite a lot of tools to deal with. Ban the World Dragon is synonymously good against. If I've got whole clans devoted to building magic items, and you get two at once.
Although you've also got the
Rating.
Storm Banner, so the Flame Spire's not going anywhere, let's be honest.
That was incredibly fun when I played a game against Harry, and I told him that his disc mage had to walk the 1 inch on its base movement.
Oh, and he's got Caradrin on Frost Heart as well, so that's
Oh, how I long for my Warp Lightning cannon.
yeah.
Do nothing for 6 turns again.
Convocation though. How many Storm Vermin have you got again?
50, 45, 46, something like that.
45.
Enough. I've got enough.
Yeah.
I think it'd be an interesting game.
You won't be able to do. I don't know that Curse of the Horned Rat is very harmed by not letting you 6 dice spells though.
Just will it. Just roll good.
Okay. Yeah.
I think you're a disappointment for not taking Squeak in such a massive unit of Storm Vermin. You've let the side down.
Wow, I have indeed. I think it'll be a tough matchup. I've got an ego the size of my house. I'm winning that game 20-0, but I think it'll be a fun game.
I think you've got the edge probably on that, just because it's you.
Vampires versus Warriors, table 15.
This
is the MSU
Bus versus Marauder Horseman. The double Terrorgeist.
Yeah.
Good news for the Marauder Horseman, I'd say. Maybe good against that. Yeah.
I don't know. This is a tough one. This is probably the closest one we've seen since Naked Prince stepped onto the battlefield. Because Harry's got a lot of cool tools in his list. He's got the Skull Crusher, the Jugger Heroes, but he's so weak to the Terrorgeist, and he's only got the Hell Cannon to poke them. I think it's a close match. They both need to play very clever. The Bowden needs to play really reserved, hold back, wait till the prime moment to deliver a punch with the Terrorgeist and the Bus unit. And Harry conversely has to dance around it until he can find the opportune moment to jump in. Yeah, it's gonna be a real close one. I'd probably give the edge to Vampires.
Have again?
Well, sorry?
Remind me, what bus unit does Harry have?
No, Harry doesn't have the bus unit. The Knights, there's
a Black Knight.
Sorry, yeah.
The Terrorgeist. So they stay back together for that optimal charge.
Yeah.
And Harry's got a lot of single piece models which are weak to the screams.
To the screams, including the Nurgle Demon Prince, who would have to get quite close to be able to use magic.
This is one of his worst matchups to get because the Terrorgeist.
Harry.
But yeah, it's his fault. He took a -5. If Bowden jumps both those Terrorgeist out early and screams a Demon Prince, he might lose them both in return, sure. But he could quite conceivably kill that Demon Prince turn 1.
Easily, a one Terrorgeist screaming.
Well, you're right. One could do it. I think if you flew both up, screamed it, you could really win that first round. And then Harry's got a lot of catching up to do because his Jugger Heroes are then locked in the unit. His Marauder Horsemen aren't doing a lot. I think that really turns it quite quickly. But you have to give them up, don't you? You have to understand that they'll go down.
And I think Bowden for us was, and I'll say this, was one of our surprise kind of results of last year. When we were looking at his list, we weren't convinced it was one of the stronger lists, but he obviously played it really well. So
yeah, well, it'll
be good to see. Right? Yeah, be good to see how he does this year as well.
Table 16, Reese has got Adam Knight.
Adam Knight's got a horrible list.
Yeah, Adam Knight's got a horrible list.
Adam Knight's list is mean. -7 feels fair, but that's also a mean list.
Although Hellheart versus Teclis could be quite funny. Because he's got 2 arcane items.
Well, what is Teclis? Teclis is going to pick. Well, I mean, he's got to pick Purple Sun against the Ogres, quite clearly. And that's, I mean, against the Gut Star, I mean, obviously that's a terrible kind of vulnerability. Yeah, that seems difficult. It must be said for the ogres. I would fear. Um, trying to remember what else Adam's got in his list. Plenty
I,
of nasty
I think
things.
Adam, he's strong. He's got the sisters. He's got the 4 bolt throwers. He's got Tetless
Oh,
with
he's
the
got
white
full bolt throw as
lions.
well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
This
shooting.
is a horrible list up, I think, for Reese. Reese might have a very nice painted ogre list. I imagine it's going to be moving to the dead pile very quickly and getting re-racked for the next game.
I think the biggest thing here is going to be Jonathan saying, "Why has Adam got Reese and not me?" It's pot luck. Just the way it threw it out.
It's not alphabetical, is it? God forbid. Both high elves are -7 and AK pit the post to JG.
That might be it. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I've seen the London Legends backroom. Alphabetical. I think I think Jonathan is a tough opponent, second best high elf player, and I think Adam Daly will drill him. Cannons aren't magical. Steam Tank isn't magical. I think that's a good match for Daly. But John's a good player. The
Pit,
small units can get chipped off. Tetless Magic is
pit
good.
of shades for the steam tanks.
Yeah, yeah.
I also think the core knights that Adam has are a problem for the high elves. I mean, he's getting through one up armor. So, I mean, yeah, he can pick Searing Doom, okay, but at the same time, very dependent upon getting big spell off with Tactless. I mean, that's being a bit too dependent on that one first.
But surely Searing Doom could do one unit a turn, right? What's Searing Doom again? Is it like 2d6?
So, I mean, the big
2d6 wound
one
on your
is
armor save.
2d6
Yeah.
wounds on the armor save. So that would,
Yeah.
it might, well, it probably wouldn't kill a steam tank. It's got too many wounds, but it's
But the
really
knight,
Well,
good.
the minute you do any wounds to a steam tank, that's value because it
Indeed.
misfires so much more regularly then. So I think with Searing Doom, you don't even need to kill the steam tank. You put 3
Yeah.
wounds onto it, God forbid 4, suddenly it's misfiring 50% of the time. And it's just not very
Absolutely,
effective then.
absolutely.
I think they're both good. Oh, go on.
They are. I think that the issue is just John is dependent upon getting spells off. I mean, I think little Searing Doom with Tactless would be the way to go actually on those steam tanks, and then trying to
So I think the thing with Adam is he seems to be really good at picking lists which kind of counter, I'm going to say, our comp meta. Because obviously it's different,
absolutely.
and it seems to be a theme each year for Adam. He's really good at picking those lists which seem to counter everybody else.
Which is why I accused him continually of having a 3D printer, which he denied.
When he submitted the list for Cardiff, he did it based on reading the compact and the 4D chess he played in his head to work out that actually, because you don't need banners to score, more people won't be taking banners, and if more people aren't taking banners, they're taking monsters and blah blah blah. We racked up to the event and looked at the list, and there was Terrorgeist everywhere, there was Kolek everywhere. Every fucker took monsters that was ready to get cannoned off, and it's like he saw the future, and he racked 4 cannons up to that event. He played nothing but monsters. He put holes in every list. So I think the fact that your comp pack doesn't allow monsters of scoring has brought infantry back in, which has made the cannons weaker. So I think he's going to have a tougher time potentially than he did at Cardiff. He's still a fantastic player. Rankings say he's second best in the UK. And first seed from your event last year. So I think he's a real tough match for Jonathan.
Yeah, and I also realised when I was talking about the Hell Heart, I was thinking of the Stone of Spite, which I nearly took in my list, which blows up arcane items.
Not the Stone of Spite at all.
Adam was running a small plus last year, wasn't he? And now he's on a -8.
His list last year, and I'll go on the record, had no business winning your event.
I agree.
Game 5, he plays against Mike, and Mike fails a leadership 10 or 9 reroll leadership check first turn, and half his army runs off the board, and they have to shake and call it there. You play that game 100 times, and he never gets that result, and he comes 5th every event, and Mike wins. So the fact he janked it with a War Shrine, a Wizard on a Slash Steed,
it was a character on the War Shrine. It was even worse. It was.
I'll say it to his face. It was a dog shit list. The fact it won was a miracle, but he got incredibly lucky against Mike at the end.
But that's also
that's Warhammer. That's
That's
Warhammer.
eighth, isn't it? Particularly as well. It's, the worst army can win in, one of those games.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, with
But yeah,
something like a panic test, for example, absolutely in old world, you wouldn't do that. We'd only fall back in good order. You wouldn't flee.
it
Very
was one
different.
of those like real moments of like
Yeah.
this is why the game I think is enjoyable, because it proves that like they both went that game and they're ready to shake 16-4 loss to Daily because that's how bad the matchup is. And you just play it, you just get the dice when you need them. You don't need a lot. And not a 9 twice and suddenly half the army's off the board. Like that's what the game's about, isn't it? That's why we roll dice.
Epic. Love it.
Absolutely.
That's why any of these lists could potentially come up on top in the day.
Yes, well, the
Yeah.
other operative question, of course, is I mean
General hyphen Prince.
whether the Jabroni generals win their fourth act or not, or whether someone like Christopher Salisbury comes and wrests it from them with the Naked Prince.
There
I
are
mean,
there are some very scary lists in the field. I think anyone who comes top 3 lists at this event, it's hard fought and well earned.
it'll
Yeah.
be
Well, I think I'd like to say, I mean, it is a classic field, let's say, for London Legends, because we've got a good field of strong players. You've also got lots of fluffy players and lots of, dark horses in the middle as well. So
Yes, lots of people who've sort of kind of turned up or come out of long retirements or appeared on an aeroplane and that kind of thing, which is
yeah,
sort of
yeah.
it's very much the sort of the London.
and there will be
London
the
vibe.
Aviator Award.
Yes, there
What's the
are.
Aviator Award?
Well, I'm not going to. I mean, it's not. It's not these because these are actually a nice pair of glasses. I did get them though. They arrived. They arrived this morning from Amazon. But anyway, yes, they're a pair of aviator glasses for the winner of the Aviation Award, which is the people who took an aeroplane to get here. The best army from them, and there were probably at least 8 or 10 people in contention for that.
Mm.
Do you London have the middle of the road award as well?
We did have it, and then we forgot about it last time. But we should bring it back.
We have the generals have said year after year that is the hardest award to get. First place is markedly easier to get than middle of the road award.
Well, it's also
And that's
really
the real
humiliating,
achievement.
isn't it? Can you imagine if
Well-
Mike got the middle of the road player? Can you imagine how awesome that would be?
I think it's impossibly hard to aim for. If your aim is to get it, that's an incredibly hard nail to hit. Because you've got to work out what everyone else's score is going into it. It's a really tough one to land.
We wanted to try and do that, but generally speaking, people don't attempt to be average, which is why it's quite hard. The skill of being the average, the everyman, middle of the road player, exactly.
Average Joe one, I think it's tough.
I like it if a very competitive player gets the middle of the road player. That's the most amusing thing, I think, if that happens. Yeah.
That's only because everybody else who knows him is going to absolutely rip the shit
Exactly,
out of them.
exactly.
There's also the absence of these sort of scary fast capitalists, right? Because we've got no Mike and no Warren. There's no.
Mike, he's moving away from that theme of lists. His last outing was Double Bloodthirster Magma Dragon Demons list at Cardiff, which performed exactly as well as you'd imagine it would. It was dominating a lot of people.
Yeah.
And Warren took a break to play 40k, stepped into another dice game and dominated that for a long time. But he's making a triumphant return to Thunderfox later this year, where he's already chastising me for what my comp will do in Wood Elves. So I need to make sure I nail it down even harder, just to spite him.
He was our first London Legend winner.
Yes,
He will not let us forget it.
London Legend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it like that they're all holding up their axes going, "Where's yours, Alex?"
Yeah, they are. I'll tell you what, the theme for me is always bridesmaid, never a bride. I've got can't see them here. Trophies are all lined up on that shelf there, and almost every one of them is a second place. It's diabolical. It's really painful.
Nice. Right.
And then, chaps.
Well,
Right. Well, I think
Alex.
that was probably our longest ever list review. I don't know how many hours we've been going, like 3 or something. But well done if you've made it this far.
Yeah, well done. Yeah, we'll have to put out the lists and the matchups online separately after the video as well. So
Yeah.
No, make him sweat. Make him come through the video. You want to know the list? Watch.